Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell at before you blow up a plane.
Basha K. Ali!
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what, good thing to say, I dabbled in stand-up or something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to part 2 of my Opie and Jim Norton epic on-air confrontation recap, analysis, discussion. Before I bring on my lovely guest, I have a few shows to promote. Come see me this weekend in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Ooh, I'll be at Fort Wayne Comedy Club this Saturday, March 29th. Then April 1st in Hartford, Connecticut, Hartford Funny Bone with the one and only Jimmy Dore. May 17th, I'll be at Jazz on Main in Mount Kisco. August 8th and 9th, The Brokerage out on Long Island. October 18th, Crackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio. For tickets, go to my website, ChrissieMayr.com, please and thank you. Without further ado, the less ado, the better, right? Let me bring back my wonderful guest from last night who helped me break down and go through this Opie and Anthony lore that I'm working my way through. He's been a longtime fan of the show and just understands things and gave very crucial content, which I appreciated very much. He is somewhat of a karaoke legend around these internet parts, and he's just frankly bored on his vacation right now in North Carolina. So joining me again tonight, the lovely Chris Baldessano.
Truth be told, I have not left this chair since we ended last night. I've been sitting in the same exact place. I did change my shirt, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait for part 2 and roll with it.
Good. He hasn't moved, people. That's how committed Chris is to his job here and breaking down this lore for us. We left off at we got through half of this epic hour and 45 minute confrontation, and we left off at just at the point which I thought was pretty pivotal. It's where Opie kind of admits that he can't keep up with Anthony and Jim on his own show. He feels left behind. He feels ignored. All because he can't do what they do. Most comedians can't do what they do. They're just amazing. They have a special kind of chemistry that you shouldn't be threatened by. You should just sit back and be like, this is amazing. I'm in the presence of greatness.
It's what he should have done.
It's what he should have done. And he should have taken an improv class if he wanted to be funnier, quicker on his feet, sharper, whatever. I don't know. A writing class. I don't know. Drink more. There are things we can do to be funnier.
This is true.
Yeah. And yes, I did just get my hair done today. Thank you. I got it did.
Me too.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to go get a cut and color every 7 weeks, or else I start looking like Hermione Granger. So here we go. And I left this. I too did not leave this seat. No,
Everything just remained since last night.
I went to go get my hair done and I came right back. This screen is exactly where we left off. And, just Chris, feel free to yell out, pause when you have a thought. Okay, chat. Same for you. You guys had very good comments last night. I do read the chat, and I'm seeing the comments come up on the YouTube, like the episode from yesterday that we did. A lot of really good comments from you guys. So appreciate it, the holes that you guys can fill in here, because there's a lot of lore.
Oh yeah, and there is a lot of people out there who do know more than I do about a lot of the years that they were together that I wasn't aware of either. So I am by far not an expert, but
those people weren't available tonight, and you were. So let's do this. Hit it.
Developed, by the way, and I should get at least that.
Like, what did you want me to say?
Anything would have been nice, Jimmy, to be honest with you, because we do a radio show together, and me and you have a history as well. So you sit there and go, wow, the guy really isn't going to say anything. Like I said, there's a difference between motherfucking a guy and at least sticking up for some of the points I made. Some of them.
You and him airing your differences was what people wanted to hear, not codependent Jimmy jumping in, trying to make everyone feel better. It was you and Ant airing your differences, dude. The fact that I didn't say enough would have been unfair for me to chime in. Dude, I know. It would have sounded like we were ganging up on Anthony. I wasn't going to do that because it wasn't my place to do it.
But I'm saying I wasn't looking for a ganging up.
I know.
Just to support something that I was saying that day. Go listen to the tape. You barely said a word. Barely.
Yeah, and it was
Anthony's the one that's fired here. Yet Opie's like, I would have appreciated some support.
And to preface this also, 5 minutes prior to this discussion, Opie was vehemently upset with how they would come into the office in the morning and they wouldn't say hello to each other.
Hello was not to his liking. It was not. There was not adequate. I don't know, eye contact. There was no.
So he's gone from that.
What did you want? A morning jerk off? I don't know what he expected.
He apparently wanted some man love in the morning. I don't know. But they would come in the office, they wouldn't say anything. There was some kind of tension in the air, and now he's going into once again saying that he is was stuck up for Anthony when we all know that's just not the case.
Mm-hmm. And it was surprising to me, to be honest with you. And I said it earlier. I know you've been in the middle since day one, so it is and I've said it to you off air as well that it's a strange position for you to be in because you're kind of in the middle. You know, but I was like, fuck, the guy can't say anything here.
I'm here every day. Like, do you understand? Like, what is it that you need from people, bro? Like, I'm here every day. Oh, I'm here every day.
I don't need anything from
that. May be my favorite quote so far. What is it that you need from people?
This is one of the questions that I wanted you to ask Opie when Opie came onto your show. Now we got to get into that psyche.
You know what? I am going to open up a Post-it note and an internet sticky note here, and I'm going to do, because I will, again, I mentioned this last night, I will have Opie on this program. I will wear him down. Questions for Opie. What is it that you need from people?
A very good question.
And also, chat, please put your questions for Opie in the chat, because I will be having him on. I will send a car. He will be mine.
Jimmy, to be honest with you, not anymore. You know, we had a good relationship and stuff, and I don't hate you, and I don't think we have a shitty relationship.
So
but our relationship changed, and that day I'm spilling my guts out, and the guy that I'm continuing with, he's saying nothing
because the guy
said nothing
because the relationship you're talking about.
I wasn't even motherfucking him. I was just giving more facts about some of the shit he was saying.
Do you know how many times I've had to go on the road and do the apology tour for you or for Ant? Like, all I've done is defend you guys. My whole and again, this show changed my life. I've done nothing but give credit to the radio show.
That is 100% right.
I've done.
Hold on, that's 100% right.
I've done nothing.
That's not the point I'm making.
But you said I don't give you. You said I don't like giving you credit, which is a lie. It's not true, bro. It's not true.
It's few and far between, which is fine because I'm not begging for that thing, but it
yes,
does eat away at you a little bit.
Well,
I'm talking
yes,
about the
you
day
are.
I was spilling my guts out.
There is nothing that Jimmy can say that will satisfy Opie. Nothing.
No.
Everything he's got to come back and interject some kind of negativity and say, no, that's not what I meant. And, that didn't happen. It's a circle with him. It's a circle of just negativity everywhere you look.
And that's how he has power over, or tries to have power over people by just, well, you wouldn't be here if it weren't for me. Well, I'm not the funny one or the cool one or the one with the friends, but
he constantly wants credit. He constantly wants reassurance.
Mhm.
You know, if Jimmy would have come in every morning, and this is not, obviously he's not going to do this. It's not what Jimmy was supposed to do. But if he came in every morning and literally kissed his ass, Opie would have been
Mm.
the happiest person on the planet. Because
Oof.
he would have had somebody giving him that little kick that he needed to say, "Oh yeah, I am the man." Look at the top
Wow.
of the show; it says Opie and Jimmy, but it says
Oh, wow.
Opie. So yeah, that shows his mental state, man. He was so out of it. God,
This is a good comment. I think it's good. It's pretty long. It's from N Nivets 9811. This is from our last night episode. Insecurity is Opie's biggest problem. He knows how less talented he is and how little purpose he served on his own show, and it was incredibly embarrassing to him. He was always trying to hide it by making up excuses to validate his worth. You owe me for the show, or I do this, or I do that. He always lashed out when someone even vaguely joked about or implied that he was unfunny, unintelligent, or just a bored op.
that sums up the entire argument. That was the absolute perfect comment.
But he goes on. This stuff touched on something he really felt about himself and was always trying to hide. So he'd feel small and start getting angry and defensive about it whenever it was even jokingly brought up. The guy is the epitome of an inferiority complex. If he were more famous, they might as well use his photo for the Wikipedia article on it. Even before everyone openly hated Opie, the fans were frequently talking amongst themselves about how weird it was that Opie was the only one in the room who never got joked on, even despite the fact that he bombed more than anyone else. The thing was, though, you couldn't make fun of him because he'd actually get emotional about it. I think that's why Opie liked Voss so much. That's Rich Voss, another comedian, because he was always very submissive to Ope, and it calmed his nerves and made him puff up those peacock feathers to pretend to be that he was a big shot. Then again, if you go back and listen, all the comedians were at least somewhat submissive to him because you could almost hear them bite their lips when he said or did something stupid. Meanwhile, Ant or Jim couldn't even flub a word without getting joked on for half an hour over it. I don't think that submissiveness everyone showed to him helped him out too much either, really. It made him too used to everyone treating him like he was an authority figure. So now, even if they say the slightest thing about him, it seems like a big deal in his eyes.
That was a single comment. What's the name of the person who
This
sent
was
it?
the single comment, Nivets.
Nivets is obviously a professional psychiatrist, and that's the stream, folks. See you later. Good night.
Yes, he can take over. We'll
that
send
just-
Nivets the link.
The entire. Can I have a card? I have some people that could use your help. Wow, that is the absolute perfect summation of the entire situation that I think I've ever heard.
We could end early now. Just kidding. We have an hour to go. Oh, a super chat. Let's see. My mouse is acting up. What's wrong with my mouse? My mouse is not mousing. Oh, it's Michael. Hello, Michael.
MGA.
Newman. Hey, Chrissy. Sadly, you didn't have me doing commentary on Opie Fights Jim. Yes, very sad. I'm torn up about it. This is up my alley. IDK. If you can't do another Opie meltdown. No, but thank you. Rhinoceros, thank you for the orange boy. The copening is and should be classified as a mental illness.
That is great.
Like
I
the
love the
happening.
nomenclature.
It's like I don't know. It sounds like a UFO event. The copening. Like what's the one where all the good Christians get sucked up to heaven? The Reckoning? No, what's that event called?
I'm a Christian and I have no idea.
Where you get everyone's like, we got to be on our best behavior because you want to be chosen to go back. I don't know. The chat knows. Rapture. Thank you.
There you go.
I kept going. Someone will know.
I had to Google it. And yes,
the rapture, the copening. Okay.
And you sat there and barely said a fucking word, and knowing everyone was like just trying to destroy me because of the shitty stuff he was saying on his show.
So you deep down
before
have resented that this whole time, and in my mind, in that moment, You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm doing the right thing by shutting my fucking mouth and allowing that to happen.
Yeah, resent is right, and you resent some of the things I did. That's just how it is.
I know, but we're talking about this particular thing.
Sure.
Yeah, Jim.
You literally
keep him on point. It's my God, it's so easy for Opie to get off topic because he feels like he's being cornered into like taking responsibility.
And Jimmy didn't resent anything of Opie's. Jimmy just came to work to do a job. Opie's trying to throw that back at him so he looks like he is on some kind of level playing field when he's not. This is all about Opie and his insecurities. Had nothing to do with Jimmy. Jimmy didn't do anything wrong.
No.
He came to work every day in the studio, was funny every day, just was Jimmy. Opie was just a douchebag.
Yeah, he's just like a toilet with a giant turd circling around. Just can't help but bring down everything around it.
literally have resented that this whole time. I was consciously keeping my mouth shut.
I moved on from it, but we brought it back up today. I was able to work it out in my head. I'm like, fuck, I guess, because, he's obviously in the middle and it's a shitty situation to be in. But yeah, I was frustrated. I'm like, God, why couldn't he, come to my defense a little bit here?
I didn't think you needed to be defended. You were talking about stuff that Anthony had said. He had talked about you.
No, when you did speak up, you were saying stuff like, well, you need to take more responsibility. This,
yes.
And I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, what about Ant's responsibility in this? Why don't we ever talk about his responsibility in this?
I have talked about his responsibility in this. I have talked about with him, and I've said on the air. I said he did not phrase those tweets right. I've absolutely said that.
Okay.
I have absolutely.
And now he's got Jimmy like on the defensive, he's pretty masterful that way. He just knows what to say to put the other person.
He's trying to have Jimmy backtrack on everything. And he's trying to get him
have
to
Jimmy be wrong.
Yeah, exactly. When Jimmy knows exactly what he did, he wasn't wrong in anything he did. It's fucking childish.
Meanwhile, has anyone done a wellness check on Esther Koo? I don't think I've heard her breathe or blink in an hour.
Somebody's got to go into the studio with a mirror and just put it under her nose and see if it's got breath at this point. The poor girl is white and she's got no blood left. She's sitting there.
Sent her out for coffee. They're like, get me out of here.
He said that.
But he has a major resentment for me because he got fired. It's ridiculous. I had nothing to do with his firing.
I know.
And if we had any type of chemistry left or any type of relationship.
He's projecting. Like, Opie is not the reason that Anthony got fired.
No.
So why would he resent? It's all projection. He resents Anthony because he was better and funnier.
Yeah. I would have went to bat for him big time, and we did go to bat for him, but it was a whatever effort. But I would have been all in with him, and I would have fucking left this place, period. But I had
said it right there
after Ant got fired. I know.
He said it right there about what he did for Anthony. It was a whatever effort.
Exactly.
He did not go in.
He did not.
And he didn't throw the gauntlet down. Now, why he didn't do that is a good question. That's another question for Opie. What were you afraid of management? Were you afraid what management was going to say, that they would can you if you backed him? What was the deal? And honestly, that's a question I don't ever expect him to answer. I mean, now that he's not working there anymore, so he can, but I don't think he'll ever really admit what his mental state was at the time. Because I think half of him wanted the show to end to move on, and the other half was trying to grab onto what they created, and he was kind of caught in the middle. But there was no action there. And
no, there was no ultimatum.
Yes, that was always the problem Anthony had. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, knowing Anthony as I know Anthony would have went to bat for Opie because of the show. He believed in the show, believed in what they were doing and the money and everything that was there. I think it was just a shocking thing to him that Opie just did not stand up to management like he should have, in our eyes.
Allegedly.
I know we were done. I know our chemistry was done. I know that version of the show was done. So my only option was to stay the fuck here because I do like doing this in the end. Period.
Yeah, I know.
Period.
I understand.
Yeah,
that.
But for some reason, these idiots still don't understand.
But again, I'm not these idiots, dude.
Or they don't want to, acknowledge any of this.
Because to them, like, he's the underdog. Like, he's the one who got fired. So it's easy to hate on you.
Esther's
that is
alive.
exactly what it does.
But he knows what is.
Esther's just trying to put this together in real time and contribute
I wonder if somebody gave her a
Something.
little light to turn on when she wanted to talk, so she knows she could just get a word in while these two were just jabbing barbs at each other. Or did she have to raise her hand?
Some of the staff are like, writing down index cards of facts and passing them to her. Like, here's a little bit of what you've walked into here.
Poor girl. Poor girl.
Poor Esther.
The truth.
But you're lumping me in with them?
No, I'm lumping you in on the day when a lot of this stuff was coming out, and you barely backed up any of my points or said anything.
It's hard because you guys are like a married couple and Jimmy's like your kid, so it's hard to bring your kid and say, hey, mommy and daddy's having a fight. What do you think? It's hard to put him in the middle.
I've never put him in the middle.
I didn't say he never put me in the middle.
Say it right now, because I need to hear that. I never put you in the middle.
I don't need to, I've said that from the beginning. I never felt like I said before, I never felt like I was in the middle. I'm a grown man. I love you and I love Anthony. I don't feel like I need to go, hey, Ann, I'm going on Ope's show or hey, Ope, I'm going to do. I don't grovel like that. You guys know my feelings and I'm here every day.
Right.
And the reason you still don't seem to know when you're the outed guy, when you're the guy doesn't have the gig, it's a different dynamic.
Yeah,
and I absolutely would have said whose responsibility I thought was what. If we were all in a room together and fucking talking on the radio, I would gladly say that, but I have not spoken to you guys in a room together in a year and a half.
Right. And it's not happening.
I'm not saying it's happening.
That's things done. And he did say right away that if I got fired, he would have continued.
This is a good thought here from Bob, fan of Patrice. Thanks for the 5. Oh, it looks like Gino. If Opie and Jim left when Ant did and they started up Compound with the 3 of them, they would all be bigger than Joe Rogan. Love you guys. Interesting. I would love to see that version of reality.
Well, remember, there was a time at the beginning of Compound where Opie did come on Anthony's show, I think 2 or 3 times in a couple of months span. They were on each other's shows. Anthony was on Opie's stream and Opie was on Anthony's stream. And then everybody took a step back. It was like, oh my God, are they going to do something together? Is Opie took a trip to the Compound studios and actually came up to the studios when Anthony was not there. I don't remember.
Wait,
why.
He came to his house? That's an event.
Not to the house. Well, somebody said yes that he did go to Anthony's house, but I don't remember what the situation was. But there was one day where Opie came up to the Compound studios, and it was earlier in the day. Anthony wasn't there yet, and I don't know if it was planned or I'm assuming it wasn't. And once that got out there, everybody was like, oh my God, is Opie going to do a show on Compound? Are they going to do a show together? What's it going to be? But it all just fizzled away after that. And then the first book hit and adios muchachos. So there was some bridges being built. And I give a lot of credit to Keith, because Keith, the cop, is the one who really was the one who wanted to try to bring them back together again, to do something. And he really did a lot of background work, and Keith is an amazing guy. And he was the closest to getting it to happen. It was this close.
Yeah. Oh man.
Period.
Yes.
Because that's where we were at with our relationship.
I understand that. It's just like you guys would have continued if I got fired from K-Rock. I know you stuck up for me, and I've said that. But they were going to fire me at K-Rock, and the show would have continued. And I'm saying this more to the fans who are saying, like, Jimmy, you should have left.
Yeah, I sat down with Chiasano about that. I said how ridiculous that was.
They wanted me out.
And he wasn't officially saying he wanted to get rid of you, by the way. He was fishing around a little bit.
Yeah, I know he was. Just like I know that.
I went to bat like I did a million fucking times for a lot of fucking people around here. I got my fucking faults, but I also got shit I've fucking done for people.
Yeah.
Reminding everyone again what he's done for people.
I was just going to say that. Exactly.
Bob fan of Patrice for 5. Opie went to Compound to talk to Keith the cop. They were going to make him the Artie offer. Ooh.
Wow.
Very interesting.
I don't remember hearing that, but it's very possible. Like I said, Keith was always the one who tried to mend that bridge. But just to your point a second ago, again, absolutely right that this is all Opie saying, here's what I did, here's what I did, here's what I did. And then 2 minutes later, it's, why didn't I hear this from anybody? Why didn't anybody talk about me? Why didn't anybody trump me up anything? It's all about him. Me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's just.
I
Oh,
wonder if the Artie offer would have had to have included like him snorting glass. Like, look, we're gonna need you to collapse your nose.
oh, poor
Oh.
Artie.
Poor guy. Pittsburgh for 5. If Dennis Falcone was in the room, none of these fights would have happened. I don't know who Dennis Falcone is. Should I know who he is?
He's wasn't he the actor on was it NYPD Blue? I know the oh god, he was in Snatch. He was the guy in Snatch, the mobster from New Jersey in Snatch. Great actor, Dennis Falcone.
Okay. Oh.
I know
It's
but
ridiculous.
you don't hear when people stick up for you. Like you grab this resentful point, and you don't hear like when I'm on when that whole fucking first cake stomp thing happened, and my entire West Coast fucking trip is and again, I know you would have defended me. My entire West Coast promotion trip is defending that. This is not this most recent bullshit one with these fucking assholes. Like first of all, for anyone,
assholes, it's the fucking fans.
I know.
The quote, supposed fans. No, it's trust me.
Part of it is the fans, and part of it are fans from other shows that hated your guts and hated the show.
Oh no, there's some of that, but that is being pushed forward by some old school O&A fans that maybe they never liked me. I don't know. I'd have to sit down. I have no idea, but it's absolutely those guys.
And by the way,
you know that too.
And I'll tell you something. I know I don't know that as well as you think I do.
God, you do know that it's. I know they were pushed the agenda. They said they were going to try to.
I know it's part of that.
October me and all that crap.
But it's a lot of. I think it's a lot of other people as well.
Oh yeah, they jumped on board.
Fans of
but
show, and
they jumped on, but they weren't the ones that started the fucking.
And
thing.
you know one reason it's hard to defend you sometimes because you don't bring this stuff up on the air. Like if you had, hold on, you didn't mention. Gavin, you didn't mention
because I don't want to give him the fucking time of the day. I hate that we brought it up today.
But it's you brought it up, and then you said I don't defend you. You don't bring this stuff up.
Well,
ever.
you know the guy was taking all sorts of shots at me, and I was like, "Why is this guy doing this?"
So,
I never met the fucking guy.
But what would
if he was a fan of the show or listened to it, maybe he was listening near the end when everything was not right anymore as far as chemistry goes.
No, but with the fan stuff, raw stuff, like you never mention this stuff on the air. Like you literally, it will happen. You won't bring it up, and then you're sitting here telling me I haven't said enough to defend you. And it's just
I'm talking about the famous day where,
and I'm talking about
I spilled my fucking guts out. You would think someone would be like, "Wow."
First of all,
I need to be. I'm what?
I've spilled my thing. I'm getting mad at the fact I've spilled my guts a million times.
Yeah, Jim and Ant like talk way more about their personal lives than Opie does.
Oh yeah, and like we said, a lot of it I think was because of Opie's family didn't want him to go that route and air his dirty laundry on the air like Anthony and Jimmy did. Anthony and Jimmy had no filter. They would talk about anything and make fun of it. Opie, obviously, because of all the issues he never had the ability to do self-depreciating humor. And if you can't do that, you can't talk about yourself, especially in a funny light. It's going to be really awkward. So.
And then you come off almost like you're better than everybody. If you can't make fun of yourself, it contributes to like this sort of arrogance and ego about him.
Well, that was a day I think you really should have, to be honest with you. It was pretty heavy shit.
And I've said what I had to say about it. I mean, and I've talked about it. I've been very open about it. In every interview I have done, they have asked me about this. Every interview I've done, I've had to go through the entire explanation about Opie and Anthony and the relationship. Do you know how many times I know you don't listen to my interviews or podcasts. I don't expect you to, but you don't hear the fucking things I've had to say or felt, to defend the show or to defend our position or to defend myself.
Doesn't come across my radar a lot. I'll be honest with you.
Maybe we should put together a montage of what he said, the nice things that he said about you, and it'll make you cry probably.
So,
the nice things that he said about you.
I rarely cry.
If Opie has never heard of all the things that Jimmy would say in the outside, why is he arguing with him and asking him about not saying anything when
why does he assume no one says anything? Right.
Exactly. He's just admitted, I have no idea what you have talked about. So Jimmy could have been out there on the road waxing him poetic. Opie has no idea, yet he's trying to shit all over Jimmy. It makes no sense.
He needs so much validation and attention. He's like a girl.
That's on the air.
But the fact that you're looking at that resentful instead of looking at it like, dude, this was a me and meaning you and Ant thing. And like, what did you want me to do in that moment? Like, do you understand
Probably the answer would be anything. Like, you purposely made sure you were very quiet and silent
because you were talking openly and honestly. And it was great to hear.
And I felt like maybe you're thinking, well, if I say the wrong thing, I don't know how this is going to be spun for me. I'm being serious. I really was thinking, like, why wouldn't he say anything?
I'll tell you why. Because you were having an extraordinarily open and honest exchange.
It was 15 years of knowing you. I'm like, can the guy say anything today? This would be nice.
You were having an open, vulnerable moment about something that you had not talked about publicly.
Right.
There was nothing for me to say. There was a couple of the things that I watched over the years. I told you the girlfriend thing, like with back, like you didn't seem to see how the resentment that could build up because of that. But I wasn't going to jump in and fucking say all this stuff. That was between you and him.
How about the girlfriend thing? Then every girlfriend you had after that hated me and my wife, and I never had a relationship with any of his fucking girlfriends after that.
I know, dude. I don't know any of that.
And the first one, Melinda, I did try to make good with that, and we tried to work some shit out, and obviously we didn't. But then moving forward, every girlfriend he got openly would hate me on Twitter in any way they could, and I'm like,
so why would he care? Why would he care if whoever Anthony was seeing at the time liked him? Why would that be so important? He's not working with them. He would probably have to see them rarely if they ever came up to the studio. Rarely. I don't know if Anthony would bring his girlfriends to the studio a lot. I don't think he would. But so what is this vainness that he has? This constant need to be liked and validated by everybody. Everybody. If he sits in a cab and the cab doesn't like him, is he going to be all pissy? The driver? I don't get it. I just simply don't get it. Maybe it's because I'm not that way, and I think the people that I know around me, don't consistently look to everybody for, ooh, I wonder if he likes me. I wonder if she likes me. Ooh, I'm going to get all neurotic if they don't.
Yeah, I wonder if it goes back to his parents, like if he has mom or dad issues or fear of abandonment or something.
That's a good question.
He is a needy man.
Something deep. This is so deep rooted in his mental, whatever you want to call it, acuity. Is that a word? I think it is.
He needs to be studied. I feel like we should have lab coats on, Chris, and like just what do you call it? It's just something that holds paper.
Oh, a clipboard.
Yes, clipboards.
I was thinking while I was out today, I thought about seeing if I could go get a pipe and then Freud glasses and the steno pad to just sit here like this.
I should have grown
taking
my
notes.
beard out for this.
A little goatage, yeah.
Sean, the producer. Hello, Sean. Thank you for the 10. Opie would never have done a show at Compound because as much as Opie claims that he doesn't like being the boss, at Compound, he wouldn't have had power over anyone because Anthony was the boss.
That's very true. And the other reason why Opie would never have done a show there, because if he would have, the assumption was that's him giving into the fact that Anthony beat him at doing something that he missed out on and that he could have done with the money that he had. There was nothing stopping Opie from creating his own studio in his house like Anthony did and doing something on the outside. He missed the boat, and he would never, ever admit, to this day, he will never admit that what Anthony did was smart. It obviously furthered his career, gave him a whole new life, and he can't come to grips with that. We'll never come to grips with it.
This is not a lesbian. This is Opie. This is we're not sure if he's wearing a wig. What's going on here? But this is a clip of Opie talking about the Compound media offer.
Anthony offered you a job on Compound. Keith really wanted to sign you. I don't know what that means. I was offered half the business to go over there, and every time I bring it up, it infuriates Anthony because I guess he didn't want people to know that they reached out to me at least twice, and offered me 2 giant fucking deals. But that goes against all the bullshit that he was spewing, that I suck and I'm worthless and blah, 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 blah. So when I made that public, it drove him nuts because the 2 things didn't match up. I can't be worthless and I can't suck and all this other horse shit. And then on the other side, you're offering me half your fucking company. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. So when I announced to the world that I absolutely had an offer to go over there. That drove him nuts that it made it public. But why not? It played in my favor because I'm like, oh, all this bullshit.
It makes him feel good about himself.
How much I suck. And
Yeah.
well, how about this, everybody? Enjoy this.
He looks like
out there. Sanctuary of Geeks.
Ooh, he looks like he ran out of money transitioning. Good Lord. I can't believe that haircut is for real.
I can't. Well, he put the wig on so he doesn't have to comb his hair. We know he never combs his hair. He's worth millions of dollars and he doesn't own a brush. So,
yeah.
But I never asked Anthony about any of his business related items. It's honestly none of my business. I never, whatever he would say would, to the public would come out, but I never once asked him about this offer. Was this offer real? Was it something that Keith was negotiating? I don't know. I've never heard about it. Honestly, don't know anything about it at all.
I'm putting that down on my questions for Opie. Compound media offer, question mark. All right, I'm going to finish this clip to see if there's anything else juicy here. Then I'll go back to the other one.
Do you think one phone call could sort all this BS out? You guys are so important to me. Also, you and Dice, okay? Yeah, me and Dice are okay, I guess. I haven't talked to him in years. And one phone call, I did the phone calls with Anthony. Everything was going okay. And that could have reinvented the fucking brand and keep the Opie and Anthony brand going. Even if the days of us doing it on a regular basis were gone. And then there was another offer to join him. The time wasn't right. And I really liked working with Carl and Vic and Sherrod. And I think in that offer, I believe, don't hold me to it, but I believe they said, you can bring all those guys with you. I didn't think it was the place for me. Because I know over there's a lot of people that just drink the Kool-Aid, and just because Anthony hates on me, they all have to hate on me. And I've never even met.
Everyone has to love him.
No, so that's where he goes into the realm of bullshit.
Real excuse. That's not even a real. Because if the deal is good enough, who the hell cares what anybody else on the network thinks of you?
Exactly, and he acts like he was doing something so phenomenally with Carl and Sherrod and whatever he was doing. No, he wasn't. He was failing. Is what exactly he was. This gave him a chance to regain the audience back that he had. And now, if the offers that he was getting wasn't enticing for him, that's one thing. But to come out and bullshit like this and say that, because the people over there are all Anthony fans and, they'll bash me, whatever. Again, it's the vainness of Opie. He could have had the golden key, come back, do a show, whatever. And the popularity would have came back and people would have looked at him in a whole different light. Instead, this is what he chose.
Mm-hmm.
Going over there would be really, really awkward. And I'll give you another fucking piece tonight. And then and I kind of explained that to Keith at the time. And Keith goes, look, dude, I would love to hear what you think about the whole network in general. And you could fire whoever you want. I'm like, how would that work?
No.
You told him he could fire whoever he wanted?
I'm calling bullshit on that. No. Keith was a straight businessman, and I know he didn't know a lot about the entertainment industry, whatever. He was put in a position to run Compound, and he was the actual boss, quote unquote, because we all know Anthony does not like being the boss man. He doesn't like making show decisions and employment, all this kind of stuff. He just likes doing his show.
He was the front man, the poster boy.
Yeah, Ant gave all the authority to Keith, but there is no way in hell that Keith told Opie you could come over and just do whatever you want and clean house. No. We're talking about Keith who wouldn't let people even go into the studio closet. He put a sign on the studio closet door, employees only. And if you open that door, you were getting yelled at by Keith. Mm-hmm. There's no way he was giving Opie that authority. No way. Oh, that's bullshit.
KJ Fury, thank you for the 5. The Dutch lady is Copey, Greg Copey Hughes.
Greg Sheldon.
Looks a little Dutch boy.
This show has to go. So, in the end, we talked and it wasn't the right place for me. And I said, no, thank you. And at that point, I just assumed that the phone calls would continue. We did like 5 or 6. Anthony was calling into my show, if you didn't know, when I was doing
Take the light
new
off.
show with Carl and Vic. And then it quickly went right back to extreme hate, and it hasn't stopped since. And that's great.
Look at that
How's your
super chat.
transition coming along?
That's great.
Pat, I know I'm trying to be nice and polite. I know the numbers, and I know how much money was being brought in. I know all of it. And, believe it or not, I take the high road more than not. And then at times
I don't think
feel
he
like
knew
I
anything, really. I don't think that the negotiations ever got to that point. I know that, when they brought Artie in, that was a whole different scenario with Artie's life and everything. But I think that, look, obviously Artie was there. I don't think that Keith really gave Opie all this information, and he's just pulling it really out of his ass. that he wants everybody to think that he was wanted that badly to come back, when I don't really think Anthony gave a crap. He loved doing his own show. He loved all the other he loved all the other shows on the network, and it doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit in my head that stuff was said.
I gotta punch back. But you know what? You put it up there, and I will say this, Pat Duffy, you're not wrong.
Look
Opie,
at this.
oh God, Rich, I can't do this. If I'm gonna be honest, you gotta be honest back. I can't do it this way.
Wow.
I'm trying to answer your questions as honest as I can, and then I get this horseshit. Opie, I saw the video that you recorded when you visited Compound Media. Why were you so desperate for Gavin's validation? I don't want Gavin's validation. I don't know much about
I just want him to
okay?
like me, and I can't stop talking about how he talked shit about me. Ooh.
God, so cringy.
Yeah, he sounds like a girl.
I know he was a co-owner of Vice. I used to be kind of friendly with Shane, the other guy, a bunch of years ago. But I'll tell you what happened, and you know this, Ricardo. You know this. Before I went and took a tour of Compound, and I made a little video of it. Before I went there, I knew there was a lot of shit talking going on over there by a lot of the hosts, and one of them was Gavin. Gavin was, not too kind towards me whatsoever, and he said a whole bunch of shit. And so when I opened the door and he was right there, I was basically telling him, I had a camera in his face, like, what do you want to say to me now? And he said something like nothing, because he knew that the camera was rolling. I didn't want validation from him, but I was calling him out on his shit. I was basically saying, look, when I'm not here, you talked all sorts of shit about me, and here I am right in front of you. Now what do you got to say? That's what that video is all about. I don't even know Anthony has a girlfriend. Why would
Such a child?
Why would she trash me on podcasts?
Opie shot a video, a POV, similar to.
Remember that guy?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I think he poops into diapers now.
So he came up to Compound and he took a video in Compound of the Compound tour, which is all of 3 rooms. You walk into a green room. There's the where Garrett and Steve would sit. You got the behind the booth, and then you have the studio. That's the tour of it. He's making it sound like it was a palatial estate that he had to go room to room in.
Yeah.
Everything with him is embellished. That's what I find. Everything with him is overblown. Nothing is for something that should have been so simple. So simple. This is like, it's crazy. It's like an out of control fire hose. It's all over the damn place.
Such a liar. Savage Talk, thanks for the 5. It is ma'am. A Cholo knows. Thank you, Savage. Oh, it's Bob again. Bob, Fan, and Patrice for 5. Chris, you are 100%. Opie is overplaying the offer. It was closer to the Artie offer. Opie was fired in June 2017. Artie started in September.
Yeah. That's 100%. I guarantee you that's the way it was. Of course he's going to overblow it. He wants the world to think that he is this much needed glue, that without him, everything else was going to fail. and it just was not
Yeah,
the case.
because
It
Keith
wasn't.
isn't gonna hop on a podcast and be like, "No, here's what," he's not the type. He doesn't I don't think he ever goes on shows. So who's gonna correct him?
I'm so curious. Let's say for a second that Opie did join Compound's show lineup. Can you kind of imagine what kind of show he would have had? Everybody that had
Opie Unleashed, him running around New York City.
God.
making
Oh
fun of the
my God.
homeless.
No, you're probably right. Oh,
Him buying envelopes. I would love to see that.
oh God, no. Oh, I didn't even think of it. See, I haven't watched. I was going to watch it. I will watch it after this. I haven't checked it
Probably
out
like
yet. But
Opie in a mascot costume running around the streets of Times Square, hassling tourists.
every other host that Compound had some kind of comedic ability. Even Mike Malice, even Schultz, they all make you laugh in some way, shape, or form. Opie just doesn't have that gene.
And not everyone has to be funny. It's okay.
I haven't even really hung out.
Boop.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I think that one of the things in his mind and another reason why he wouldn't have come on to Compound is he was afraid. If he took that, whatever offer, let's say he
now he's
passed
kind
the
of
audio
working for, like, in a sense, even if it was 50-50, he is still joining Anthony's company. It's like,
right. And now he's got to produce something where he sees all these other shows on the network. How am I going to live up to that expectation
right,
when he couldn't ever do it on the radio show when he had Anthony with him?
Anthony was the one like floating him. So yikes, what would it look like if he was finally on his own?
These are all the things that I'm sure were running through his head from what I gather, because if I was in his position, they would be running through my head. I would have been scared shitless to go on a Compound knowing that I'm not a funny guy on a network that is full of funny shows. So what I would have needed somebody else to run with me, but he's so big. Who knows? I can't imagine that Sherrod would have come on all the time as his sidekick and tried to kick it. I just didn't see it, but
yeah,
okay.
he would have needed.
Okay, terrific
for him.
How you or met you? This is ridiculous. And then we're doing the radio show together every day. This is complete madness.
I know, but I'm not talking about
stepped.
that stuff.
I should have stepped the fucking away a long time ago.
I'm not talking about that stuff. That's not the
I
stuff
would
I'm
meet
talking
these girls and go, "Why the fuck do you hate me? I haven't even met you yet."
But that's not what I'm talking about.
And if he had a problem with that, he should have discussed it.
Why would the validation of people you've never met matter to you? Like, oh, I've never met you. I can't believe they don't like me. I've never met them. They never met me. Like
you're so vain.
Who fucking cares?
You probably think this song is about you. You're
so
vain.
vain.
That's him, man. He's Carly Simon.
Especially with that long hair.
With me.
You're saying you wanted me to speak up that day, and I'm saying there was an open.
That was the only thing you said. You were defending him
because he wasn't here, and I was raising a point as somebody who has been in this studio for 15 years and seen a lot of what goes on.
Right.
And he wasn't here. And again, being the guy who got fired.
But I wasn't asking for a motherfucking.
I know that.
Anything.
You didn't need me to.
Like I said, yeah, I kind of needed you.
No, you didn't, dude. You did fine. No, you were open and honest, and you didn't need me to.
Jimmy, if you need to know, because we've been friends for a long time, I kind of needed you that day. And I was bummed that you weren't there for me.
Oh my God!
And I did get over it. But we're talking about.
No, I know that, but I'm shocked.
Oh man. He's definitely got that girl chromosome floating around in there somewhere. I needed you. I needed a hug. Oh God, it's so douchey.
He's finally opening up here, but it's like he just sounds like such a dumb chick.
I think he wants to cry. I think he needs a good cry.
I think he's got deeper issues.
Always got a lot of issues.
And everyone around him has got to just unravel his issues all the time.
And now it's at the point where, like I said, how he can't backtrack from this. It's so deep rooted in him with all that he's not doing now, and he's just making himself look worse and worse. And breaking this down as we're breaking it down shows you just how quickly he fell from the height that he had in the height of his fame to where he is now. It's mind numbing.
Now we have Opie Unleashed.
Oh God.
that you feel that way? Like, why wouldn't you have
Absolutely, I needed you that day.
I was
Period.
here. Like, period. You needed me. Like, what did you need me to do? You were having an open and honest talk.
Are you making fun of the fact I said period there?
No, you're defining.
Just wondering.
Oh, he just tried to be funny.
Just asking.
What? Because you're saying I needed you.
No, that's not a joke. I did need you that day.
But like, what did you want me to do? I was right here.
Honestly, you weren't here. You were here physically.
Okay.
No, I'm not really, Jimmy. I'm not letting that point go.
Is he talking about the day that Anthony got fired?
I think he is.
He needed Jimmy, like the day Anthony got fired. No, the focus should have been on Anthony. And like, what are we going to do to have his back on the show publicly? Whatever. Did Twitter exist back then? I think it did.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the reason why he got fired. But
yeah, right.
Again, it's all me. It's all about me. Anthony got fired the show, but it's me. I need the hug. I need the validation. I need the kudos. Somebody please talk about me, please, in any respect.
I think someone in the chat said he has mom issues. I am detecting mom issues. This is like it goes deep. Anytime you have a behavior come out in somebody that doesn't make sense for what's going on, you know that typically it goes back to your parent dynamic.
Right.
And or how you were raised, something
Parents
going on in your house.
Yes.
Yeah. Sean, the producer for 5, Opie has the mentality of an insecure tween girl. Yeah. And another thing too, I'm not saying
he's in Mean Girls.
And I'm not
he's
saying
Lindsay Lohan.
Opie's been abused, but a lot of times when someone is abused, they stop maturing. Like their mentality, their level of maturity basically stops at the age that they get abused.
You have to wonder if perhaps when he was growing up that he feels that he wasn't given enough attention. I don't know if he has. I think he has brother.
Are in his family.
I know his brother. I think owned F.H. Riley's. That's where they would the restaurant that they would all go to in Huntington.
Oh,
let me see how many.
Yeah, well, how many siblings does he have? Oh, he's born in New York City, raised in Centerport, Irish American. All right, so there's got to be multiple siblings. Let's see. They don't say.
Yeah, I know he has at least one brother. But let's just say he has just one. Perhaps he felt that his brother got all the attention from his parents, and he spent his childhood consistently searching for that validation from his mom and dad. And he never got it. Perhaps, I don't know.
That would make sense.
It would, seeing how he has the need to just be loved and liked by everybody. Not only loved and liked, he needs to hear it. Yeah, he needs to actually hear it. He needs words said. If you just go about your business and don't say a word to him, he immediately thinks that you do not like him.
He needs his love language is words of affirmation.
Yes, it is.
Mine is physical touch.
For 50, I have a major point.
Why? Because you broke down and cried? So what, dude? I've done that on the air before.
Oh, no,
Big deal. You were sad. It was great.
No, that part's okay. But I'm sitting there talking. I'm like hoping that you would add to the conversation or say something. And you barely said anything that day. And yeah, I needed you that day.
Because it was
that's
between
embarrassing
you
to say. And you want an open discussion.
I do.
I needed you that day.
So what?
As a friend, like, wow, we're going through shit together because we can continue the show, and everyone didn't know the shit that was happening behind the scenes. So right away they're like, wow, they're fucking scumbags for moving on without him. And then sorry, I'm losing my fucking thought. And
saying you needed me that day.
And yeah, because we were going through a lot, continuing without him. And you also knew all the shit that was happening with me and Ann. And I'm like, can't you say anything?
And when the mics went off, and I told you that, don't tell me I didn't say anything to you. I told you that was fucking great that you did that. I remember talking to you
when the
about
mics are off. Wonderful. How about when the mics are on? It's not a bad thing to say when the mics are on.
Because you didn't need it. It was
it's never enough. And Jim's like, well, I said this. I was here for you in this way. And it's never enough.
Because he wants everybody else to hear you say it. I need the world to let them hear your validation of me. I want everybody to know that I am loved.
Two Master says he has many brothers. So maybe Jim's favoring for Anthony and all the fans and comics favoring for Anthony triggered his deep childhood wound of having maybe his mother and or father favor another sibling.
Very good guess. Makes a lot of sense. Really does.
Opie, if you're listening, this is free, by the way. This is free psychological counseling we're giving out.
It's an open thing between you and Anthony.
It's embarrassing to say, but I needed you that day, Jimmy.
I didn't look at that as me not being there for you. You and your old radio partner having this discussion, which I felt you guys should have had on the air. And I said that from the beginning. And when I said that to you, like, dude, the groundswell of support.
Why did we need to have it on the air? Why?
Why?
We barely took off the air.
And
we should have went.
I'll be honest.
We should have went. That was a wonderful 20 years in general. Yeah, we didn't get along, but we accomplished a lot of shit. So what? Now we're going to go into this world of fucking hating each other. I really did find that ridiculous. I'm like, why would we do that?
I'll tell you why.
And I know we aired a lot of shit over the years, but that one was a heavy fucking thing that we should have done off air.
Maybe.
And I did offer to hold on. Because there was a time I was going to try to get on his show early because I understand what you said earlier about the support and stuff. And he knows this is true. I reached out to him. I said, I don't feel comfortable being on your show because we're in a weird fucking place. So I don't know the exact words I said. And I would text him, say, before we do that, maybe we could get a beer or dinner. He laughed that off like it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever said. And I'm like, it's not happening. I'm not going on there cold after all these years and have some shitty hour and a half, 2 hour conversation where we motherfuck each other. I thought after all these years, a beer or dinner to really talk about shit, and then maybe I could go on the show, and then maybe we could talk about some of that stuff that did happen. That was the way I thought it should be done. And he laughed it off like that was the dumbest, stupidest idea.
Because you and then you say something like to have an honest and open talk.
Wow, like Opie thinks that he is making himself vulnerable. And then when that is in his mind rejected, he's like so wounded and like the shell goes back up and he but probably it's not coming across. I'm sure like his bid for attention or closeness maybe wasn't clear to Anthony.
Probably. I know Anthony is not a confrontational person at all, but if you remember not so long ago, the whole issue between Anthony and Bill Burr, when Anthony was at the Laugh Factory, I believe, he went up to Bill to try to reconcile with Burr. So, and that situation was, I think, more awkward than if Opie would have reached out in some respect to try to mend that bridge. I don't know, just everything that Opie says seems to be just so over the top. I can't believe that he would have reached out to Anthony in a way that Anthony would have poo-pooed like that.
No. Sean, the producer, has a good comment here. Opie was all about being real on the show until it would have made him look bad, which is when you're a comedian, really any kind of comedic personality, you have to be vulnerable. You have to spill your guts in a sense, at least about most things, the good and the bad. It can't just be like, wow, you're so great. You're so funny. No one is going to get to that level of success. I mean, he did get to a level of success, but
his success was based off of his repertoire with other people.
Right.
It was not him, just him.
And the success of the show, which was based on Ant and Jimmy opening up and revealing the good, bad, the ugly about themselves. And he just wanted people to think he was great and that there was nothing to make fun of.
He couldn't ride on their coattails of the not only the success but the repertoire that they had, and it just gutted him inside.
Hope he wanted to be wined and dined just to have a conversation. Ugh, yeah, I'm gonna need some beers. Wow, Bob says Opie has 7 brothers and sisters, right? Irish, so that's gonna be a lot of sibs. Yeah, he felt ignored growing up. Now, Bob, if you could find out where in the birth order he is, that would be helpful.
He was probably the Kevin of the Home Alone bunch. You know, they went on vacation and they left him. Opie!
They left him all alone with a microphone.
And somehow he wound his way to New York, and he got on the radio. So.
Oh boy!
Wow!
And then you're telling me this whole time I'm literally had zero idea that you expected me to do something. Hold on, I'm telling you, that day, you didn't think I did what I should have done.
Wow.
I don't know what you should have done. I just wanted something. I don't know what exactly what I was looking for.
Well, then maybe you should realize that it's irrational for you to think that I didn't do the right thing.
Irrational. We do the show together. We've known each other for 15 years. You know the shit. You know way more of the shit that we've never talked about that has happened. And I'm spilling my guts out. And you're.
Wait, didn't he just start this by saying we're not that close?
Right. But we've known each other for 15 years and we've worked every day with each other.
Yeah.
And I expected you to know more about me when I wouldn't say anything.
And you know everything that's happened behind the scenes. You know.
I don't know how all three of them, Anthony and Jimmy, obviously I know because they love each other. They're great friends. But how all three of them sat in a studio for so many years and made it work, I have no idea how they really did that.
Money can help make it work, I think.
That's true. That's
you can find a way.
That's very true. I didn't think of that.
Opie still follows me. Wow. Okay, I thought for sure I'd be blocked again by now. Okay.
Oh, he's tuning in.
You're not really saying a word
because I was watching you both,
and it bummed me out. And I did move on from like, I know it's got to be because he's in the middle, and it's a bad spot for him to be in.
You guys were
so
both...
I did get over it, but I was like, I did really want something from you that day.
There was nothing for me to do. And I'm not saying there's nothing emotionally.
We're going round and round. Fair enough.
There was nothing for me to do.
Fair enough. I'm not.
No, he just wanted to be picked. He wanted to feel like Jimmy picked him over Anthony. He doesn't feel that way. He feels like he picked Anthony to be friends with, to be closer with, because they had that good chemistry.
Exactly.
He was never gonna feel like Jimmy like picked him. What did he want? Some sort of grand, insane gesture.
He wanted Jimmy to come in that day and
lick his
embrace
butthole.
him and basically say, okay, now we can be this great tandem and we're going to have the repertoire that Anthony had and we didn't need him. And that's what Opie wanted. But he couldn't even lie that because there was nothing there. If they were together for 15 years and they couldn't get along.
Wow.
What does it tell you?
Whew, that's a long time.
A very long time.
Continue arguing. Fair.
I'm not even arguing with you. I'm not even angry.
We're not gonna get to a place on this one. I'm telling you, I felt like I really needed you that day, and you're saying there was nothing for you to do. Then that's how it's got to be.
Because I'm telling you why. When you're watching two guys air something that you knew was going to come, because I knew Ant had been making little remarks, and I knew you had been saying things on Twitter. Again, not fuck you, not drop dead, but I knew it was going to happen. So when it finally happened. It's like, what do I do? It's not like I was in the room with him when he was doing it going, support. And then you're talking, I'm saying nothing. I wasn't in the room when he said what he said.
Yeah, I get that part of it.
So the fact that I was in the room while you were responding.
But you're confused because I'm not talking about, you're thinking that.
No, I don't think
you needed to speak up. So yeah, anything would have been nice. Like, holy fuck, we've been through some shit.
I literally didn't feel.
We're not going to agree.
I know. I'm telling you, I didn't feel like you needed it. You were having an open talk.
I'm almost embarrassed to tell you that. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And it was a big disappointment. But we moved past that. We did.
No, obviously not. I didn't know about it.
It's coming up now, but
obviously
did
not.
In a way. Absolutely.
They never moved past anything. This is stuff that has been stewing in Opie's mind for years and years and years. And yeah, he's coming out with it now, but it's so like, okay, dude, why didn't you, years ago, why didn't you come up to me off the air and say something to me about it? Tell me how you felt instead of keeping it all bottled up inside that I need this validation. And then now once Anthony is gone, here it is. Come to me. I have created the sun. Oh, man, it really, the more I listen to this, the sadder I'm getting for him, because I don't think anybody should be in this kind of a mental state where you have to rely on other people giving you, let's even call it false words of hope that I love this guy, blah, 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 when they really don't, you know what I mean? Just saying it to make you feel better.
Service. Yeah.
Thank you. The lip service. It's a sad, sad way to live. And he's got to be so miserable inside that
Wow.
he's burned all the bridges. He doesn't have people sticking up for him outside of a really small select few that will give him kudos on his podcast. That's why I'm sad for the guy. I wish it wasn't this way. I wish he was better mentally in a
I
better
wish he was
place.
better too.
I was fine, and it was out of my head for the most part. But it came up today because of all this.
Yeah.
You know, that show was over.
I'm not saying it shouldn't have been over.
But did I feel left? I don't know if saying I felt left out. I don't know if that's the proper. As a radio guy that's been doing this since I was 18, I'm like, I always knew when, oh, okay, this is done. And I knew it was done, but not, it was done as far as my participation in it, I guess. I'm not saying the show wasn't still working. It was working in a very different way, which was fine. And the move probably would have been for you guys to move on and continue doing a show together.
Well, I feel like we really got somewhere here.
But to feel left out.
Esther. Someone in the chat said that Opie is histrionic, and I very quickly Googled histrionic personality disorder. Let's see if this fits Opie, because we are getting into therapy here a little bit. HPD is defined by characterized as a pattern of excessive attention-seeking behaviors, usually beginning in adolescence or early adulthood, including inappropriate seduction and an excessive desire for approval. People diagnosed with the disorder are said to be lively, dramatic, vivacious, enthusiastic, extroverted, and flirtatious. I don't know if he's flirtatious, but
yeah, I wouldn't say he's all that.
Listeners of the show, you guys would know. HPD lies in the emotional cluster of personality disorders, also known as cluster B. People with HPD have high desire for attention, make loud and inappropriate appearances, exaggerate their behaviors and emotions, crave stimulation, very often exhibit pervasive and persistent sexually provocative behavior, express strong emotions with an impressionistic style, and can be easily influenced by others. Associated features can include egocentrism, self-indulgence, continuous longing for appreciation, persistent manipulative behavior to achieve their own wants.
I think a lot of that describes him. Not everything, but his whatever you want to call it, mental state, if there is a nomenclature for it, it wasn't that way when they first started. It grew as Anthony's talent grew. When Anthony became more prevalent on the show with his characters, with his voices, his impressions and stuff like that, that's when that bridge, the gap just got too wide. And Opie got exposed of being just a radio disc jockey and Anthony being the on-air talent. And that was unrecoverable for Opie. You know, again, he'll always say, well, I'm the man who brought in Anthony. I'm the man who brought in Jimmy. It was all me. It was my idea, whatever. Sure, if you want to take credit for that, that's fine. You did bring in Anthony. But Anthony outgrew the situation that you brought him into. He became a star. And I don't want to say he purposely left you behind, but you guys had a great working chemistry that just grew apart. And you could not conform to what the show became. And that's it left him, like I said, gutted.
Right. He didn't grow
No.
the way the others did.
No, not at all. I mean, Anthony wasn't a comedian. He was a HVAC duct hanger for an air conditioning company. He went on Howard Stern to become to do a Jackie Martling impersonator. And when Howard loved him, Opie brought him in. And it was like, oh, this guy is funny. We're going to do something special together. And they did. I give Opie that credit. They did amazing things together and grew a show to be one of the greatest radio shows in the history of radio. Without question, can't be argued. But that price that they paid because of that was that division. And as it grew thinner and thinner, Opie got more exposed. Anthony grew on to have his own thing. And, you know, look, now Anthony's at the point where he does stand-up comedian shows. He goes with Gavin. He goes with Josh Denny. He's doing stand-up. He's done a couple of roasts. You know, he's not a stand-up comedian, but he's got that gene. He's got that gene that you have.
Material. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you do a show for this long, your co-hosts and the listeners, if you're not like an actualized, like self-realized person who's self-aware and you know like what your patterns are, know what your demons are. But if you're just like, if you haven't worked on yourself, basically, and you do a show for this long, yeah, your co-hosts and the audiences, like your issues are going to come up. And if you can't deal with them and figure your shit out, like it's only a matter of time. You can't hide from that.
No, not at all. Not at all. You're absolutely right.
Anne Hathaway fan for 5. Chrissy has a voice like 3 fingers of gin on a Friday night. It's just awesome. Wow. What about this voice? Thank you, Anne. Iron Ball Sack. If that Mo just wouldn't eat effing nuts and grapes on air, O&A would still be on the air. Linker longer, quack quack. Or like yeah.
But don't forget, Opie used
yogurt.
to eat the yogurt. Yep, he would flick the spoon in the yogurt.
God, scrape the yogurt off the container.
How they would just get on each other's nerves. Unbelievable.
On the producer, thanks for the 10. Opie during this fight. The show was over. Opie's revisionist history now. Anthony destroyed the show. Which is it, Opie? See, this is a good question for when I interview Opie.
Sean is great. I was talking to Sean a lot lately. He has so many poignant messages. He knows a lot. I really like Sean.
We love Sean.
No, it's ridiculous. I realize, okay, this is not going to work anymore.
But you shouldn't have felt left out. That's the point. The point I'm
not,
making is
I'm saying I saw it differently. I saw something, not a left out, okay, this show is done. It's okay. Because I'm not going to sit here and be desperate, like, hey, guys, I feel left out. I'm going to try to figure out how to get back in. No, I was thinking more like, okay, it's time to move on from this version of the show. I'm amazed we made 20 years. No one makes fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
So, and it should have been, everyone should just fucking moved on all nice.
He's like, no, I thought it was over because Anthony got fired. I wasn't willing to stick my neck out for him. So I had just decided it was time to move on. It's like somebody took my competition away and, well, that's done now.
I'm just waiting to hear Opie sniffle. The cry is in there somewhere. I was just waiting for someone to something like that.
Yeah.
He's right on the borderline of it.
I want him to cry. He needs a release.
He does.
But for some reason that can't happen, which is ridiculous after 20 years.
But when you say things like, I'm not getting any hatred for being here, like you have no idea.
I guess
I think everybody just needs to close their Twitter accounts.
No, but I mean, I'm not even crying about it. Like it stinks. I don't like it.
Some of it I guess some of it makes my radar, but not on any level that I think is
Wait, what did you say?
A good try by Esther. She tried to get that in there for a little chuckle, but then these two were just going back and forth.
She's like, can someone please pay attention to me? I am the guest after all.
She just
goes amazing. It's amazing how much.
Because here's the thing: when you do a radio show, you do know that people aren't going to like you. Period. But so you get that like anyone else does. But mine was just over the top, ridiculous shit and being blamed for everything. And then this fucking guy that I sat next to for 20 years allowed it to happen. Because he's fucking bitter, but that's has nothing to do with me. I didn't get him fired. He allowed it to happen. That's fucking creepy.
I think we could just all agree that your fans suck.
No, I mean they are in a weird position. Like I'm not talking about the hardcore ones who are scummy, like the ones who are fucking pushing bullshit or having multiple Twitter accounts. I'm not talking about those people. The majority of the fans who even want the show back, it's not going to come back. And I know that, and you know that, and Ant knows that.
Right.
But I'm saying they're not shitty. A lot of them honestly don't know. They've been put in this position. They're like, well, this show was what it was, and how could this happen? Yeah. And how could they? Like, I understand that they don't.
We felt the same thing. We felt the same thing. That show meant pretty much more than anything in the entire world to me. Until I, got married and had kids. It was everything to me. It was my whole fucking world.
Why didn't he do anything about it?
It's downright a bummer.
Why didn't he stick his neck out?
If the show meant so much to Opie over the years, why didn't he go off the air and do something about it? If he thinks he had all this power, if he was so important, he could have fixed this. He could have done something, and he didn't do anything, and he just let it go. And now he wonders why he is where he is.
Opie's like a cheating girl that lost her meal ticket after 11 years. Woo.
It's brutal. It's so brutal to hear all this. the angst, the stuff that he comes up with, it just I don't know. I don't get it. I will never get it because I'm just not that way in my mind. The whole validation thing that keeps cropping up with him, it just befuddles me.
Do you have a bird?
No, wait, give me the. That's not. That's
Oh my goodness, is that Waffles?
That's Waffles.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Solo layout.
There you go. There's Waffles.
Look at you. Oh.
Hi,
Wait, so
Waffles.
he has a brown head and a white body?
Yeah.
That's weird looking. Was he on sale? Because he has strange coloring?
No, he was not on sale. Cost $60. But we've got Waffles and Fern. Fern is in the other room. So yeah, my wife's sitting here next to me, so she's holding
squeeze him.
Okay, can't squeeze him.
Your wife is sitting next to you holding a hamster. Is that what she's trying to do to get you to wrap it up? You're like, look, there's a hamster here.
Actually, she fell asleep before, and Waffles is just sitting on top of her while watching the TV. She's watching Law and Order.
So you just have hamsters loose running around?
Guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs.
No, they're not running around. They have their own little cage and stuff. But while we're down here in the Carolinas, we see every time we come down here, we seem to pick one up. We picked up 2 this year because my daughter lost hers. So I said I'd get her one. And then they came as kind of like a pair package. And they're adorable.
The dog doesn't try to eat them, does he?
No.
Okay.
No, they're sleeping actually.
Oh, what are they sleeping? Like a shoe?
Well, no, Diva, who's right next to me. You can see Diva here. Look, Dave.
Hold on. Oh, another dog. Solo layout.
Say, Dave.
Hello.
Diva.
Oh,
That's Diva. There she goes.
Oh, she's cute.
Shetland sheepdog.
How cute. Oh, I like her fur.
Yeah, she's 9.
Oh, you don't look it, girl.
Oh, no. Okay, there we go. Put this back.
Okay.
That it ended. But it was done. And we made 20 years. We weren't fucking I've said this stuff over and over again. If there was an inkling of chemistry left or a relationship, we would have continued. I would have walked in a second. I would have said bye, because I love doing this. We get paid well to do this, but I just love doing this. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about that at all. I have enough money. It was like, wow, I can't leave here because we are done. That's the headline. We were done.
Yeah, but
I would have left it in a second.
I'm not questioning why you didn't leave.
This is the shit that I have to deal with.
But I'm not.
Which is amazing to me because it's like, don't you understand? You heard the same show that I was hearing. That the show, the chemistry was done.
But this stuff that's been happening in like the last, say, 2 months with all this bullshit with these videos and stuff like that, you don't bring it up on the air. So like, I don't know how you would like me to. How would you like me to address it? I've been wanting to say for a long time. What the fans who have done with that video with the case, I'm trying to get you fired. It's disgusting. Well, it's disgusting in a weird level to me. Like, hatred of somebody is one thing. But that drove me crazy. What fucking nonsense that was, and how that wasn't even dirty. It was just like, how the fuck could you guys try to get somebody fired for? Like, that's been annoying me so much. Well, but it hasn't been brought up by you on the air, so I didn't feel like it was my place to bring up something where they were targeting you for.
Right.
So you would have gotten a tremendous amount of support from me had you just mentioned it on the air, but you didn't. Mm-hmm. So I didn't feel it was my place.
Well, all right. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. Then why don't you call me on that and say, hey, man?
I have talked to you about that. Well, yeah, we've talked about that.
No, I don't think you said to bring it up on the air. Let's try to like work through this.
Always something.
I didn't
look.
Wow.
Always. Well, you didn't bring it up on the air, but I talked to you about it. Why isn't it on the air? It's always something with him. There's always got to be a reason why he is the victim, like you said. Every single time the victim. It's also crazy the fact that nobody knew during the heyday of the show, every fan thought that everybody was getting along so well. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever envisioned that this was the reality behind the scenes, which is why it's such a shocking thing. You know, God, how could these guys work with each other every day and be so funny and so lucid, and they absolutely loathe each other.
This is a good comment from Symbolic Mind. Ant got fired, and Opie really thought he would be doing his own show without Jim. Ooh.
I'm sure.
But then what the hell would that show be about? who would be funny if it was just him by himself?
It would have been Opie in the days when he was in Boston before he brought Anthony on. It wouldn't have been an entertainment show because he's not an entertainer.
Not gonna be funny.
he would have broke in with a story or two and played some music, and
Yikes.
that was about it. He would have went back to being a DJ. That's what he does best. And I admit that the guy can be a DJ. He has been in the past successfully, but he is not an entertainer. Vastly different. And if he would have tried to do something on his own in the entertainment realm, it would have bombed so hard. It would have been David Lee Roth. Look what David Lee Roth did when David Lee Roth came in and replaced Opie and Anthony on K-Rock. I remember this vividly because, like I said, I didn't follow O&A to Sirius XM. So I would listen to David Lee, or I would try to listen to David Lee Roth going to work in the morning. It was fucking horrific. It was actually a bad listen for about the first 2 weeks. You would be like, wow, could this really be on the radio? Am I really listening to, oh my God, this is horrible, but you couldn't turn it off. But eventually, you'd go find another station. That's what would have happened if Opie had to do it himself.
Opie had him from Sean. Opie had himself convinced that he was just as talented as Anthony, and when Anthony was fired, reality slapped Opie in the face.
100%.
Like he knew he wasn't funny, but he was like, "Oh, well, he thought he brought something else to the table, I guess."
He thought it was a 50-50 experience listening to Opie and Anthony. He thought he brought half of it, Anthony brought half of it, and if Anthony left, he could do it on his own and he could maintain the fame that he had going forward. And he knows now, obviously, but I think he knew then too that was just not going to be the case. He didn't have the comedic sense to do it. And when he brought Jimmy in, that doubled down. Now you've got a stand-up comedian on the show. You've got Anthony, whose comedic value is off the charts. And you got poor Opie, who's just a record spinner.
Aww.
Can't measure up to that.
Occurred to me to say that. Like,
for the record, I know you support me on that. Yeah. But maybe you should, I don't know, maybe you should have said, hey, maybe it would be a good one to bring up on the air because some of the stuff is not good to bring up on the air.
I understand that, but put yourself in my shoes. You right now, what you're saying, like, okay, I didn't feel like you were supportive enough. I would have been 1,000% supportive on this because it was annoying the shit out of me. I told you it annoyed me. It was disgusting. And then, hold on, I support you. I talk to you about it. But then you say to me, why didn't you tell me to bring it up on the air? It's like, come on, what do you want me to do? Like, how much?
I said I was guilty of that too. There's things that bother me about you, and I probably should reach out and talk to you about. Like, that's all I'm saying.
That didn't bother me. I just didn't. It didn't occur to me like that. It's because it was involving you. Like,
that video's once again from 2007. It wasn't just some random homeless guy that we saw and I jumped on his fucking cake. That would be a horrific thing to do to anybody, and the people know that. But they got a vendetta against me or whatever the fuck it is, and so they're gonna spin the truth in the whole fucking thing and try to make it something that it absolutely wasn't. They're also throwing it out there like it happened fucking yesterday, which is ridiculous. We knew the fucking guy.
Yeah,
we knew him very well. We gave him thousands of dollars in our time of knowing the guy. And I'm not saying money makes something go away, but I felt like I had a relationship with the guy enough where, I could do this for a stupid radio show and everyone would be okay in the end. Yeah, and if I'm wrong for thinking that, that's fine. And I'm also, sorry if it did offend people, but it wasn't just some random fucking guy. I mean, the company actually sat me down. I don't even know if I ever told you this, Eric Logan, that he wanted to know all the facts about that because it was getting ugly at the time back in 2007. And when he found out it was Andrew, a guy we talked to a lot on the air, he's like, oh, okay. And the company was totally cool with it. They got it. They totally got it. It was a shocking thing to do for a shock jock show.
Yeah. But in the moment, it wasn't that shocking, to be honest with you. It was like,
I was trying to make you guys fucking cringe. Holy fuck, is he really doing this?
And we
That's
left.
all.
And we left.
And not at his expense, because I'm like, this guy, we were bringing homeless guys in all the time, and we were making them feel special and part of the fucking radio show. We didn't just look at them like fucking bums.
By the way, do you know how much hatred I got from that recently? Like, you're not the only one that caught.
You never told me. I have no idea.
I'm not mad at you for it. I mean,
I have no idea.
I didn't even think of it. But I just, like, literally on the air, I'm having some fucking stripper fucking tell me what a piece of garbage I am. Because I'm fucking, she's texting me, this fucking girl had been sending me nude videos. Tell me what a piece of shit I am on the fucking, but like all the times, the interviews I've.
that brings a lot of. It shows you exactly where Opie's mind was when he did the stomping the cake on the homeless guy. He thought that was going to be the ultimate Opie comedy experience. That was going to be a knock 'em
Okay, I'm
dead
not
laugh.
familiar with this bit. What happened?
The people in the chat are going to know it more. It's been so long, I haven't thought about it. But there was something had occurred outside the studio. There was a homeless guy in front of the studio, I believe, and he had a cake, or they were giving him a cake to eat or something like that. This poor guy, and they presented him the cake.
A piece or a whole cake?
It was a whole cake, I think, a whole cake in a box. And Opie wound up stomping on the cake in front of the guy right on the sidewalk. And if I'm right,
Hold on, is this on YouTube?
It probably is. That was one of the most famous things they had going on at the time. Let me see.
Cake stomp comes right up. The cake stomping incident. Oh boy.
Yeah, Opie thought that this was going to be something that was going to meteorically send his comedic ability up to their level, and it failed miserably.
Hold on.
There was video of it a long time ago on Foundry Music. I don't know if it's probably on YouTube somewhere. Let me see.
I'm looking. I see. Wow. Okay. What?
Is this it? Yeah, 2007 homeless cake stomp.
Cake stomp controversy.
Let me see if this is the one here. Yeah, I think this is it. It's homeless man gets cake stomped on is on YouTube.
Cake.
I'll probably send you this link.
I see one that's to music.
Here, I think if I put it in the chat here, paste. Should be that one.
Okay. Oh, yep. That's the one I was looking at.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I saw this recently online and I thought it was horrible what this man had to go through. I put my feelings in this video. Oh wow.
Nice music.
But I had a couple when? About an hour ago? Oh, last night?
Yeah,
Party with the guys?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Guys, treat yourself. What is it?
Wow, that looks good, but I am not touching it.
You eat it, Andrew.
No, it's some kind of a cinnamon
Put it down for a second.
hanky thing.
That's not.
The cringe.
You know
Oh.
that. Come on. It's the plastic. I'm
Hold on. Did they just then throw a bunch of money at him?
Money, yeah. But I guess the people that were standing around him felt bad because
You know what?
was.
If I was gonna do that, I would have another cake ready to go, like to give him.
That was the
stomping.
beginning right there of Opie Unleashed.
That's too unleashed. That Opie needs a leash. That's just mean. Is that funny? Chat people in the chat. Do you think this is funny? Maybe it's because I'm a mom. Maybe I've.
Oh no, it was horrific. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking. But all he thought that was going to be just blow up the bit and be hilarious, and everybody was going to drop dead laughing of taking advantage of this poor guy, and it completely blew up in his face.
Oof.
That was his attempt at becoming the level of comedy that Anthony and Jimmy brought to the studio.
That's like actual punching down. Like people say that a lot, but this is like stomping on a homeless man's cake is like, oof.
Mm-hmm.
That's despicable. Oh no! Oh no! They should have had another cake. They should have another cake, and they should have had sandwich, coffee. They should have had like a lot more stuff.
Poor homeless guy should have got up and decked him right in the jaw. So I mean, that was brutal. But he
put
was
it down.
so
Wow.
desperate at that point
What a
for that
bully.
comedic attention. He wanted that to be that guy so badly on the show. He wanted to
sad.
contribute something, and he saw this as a possible moment where I can finally be, seen as an equal. And he just destroyed himself with it.
Yeah, this is literally when the jock gets jealous of the class clown, so he tries to be funny.
Exactly, Khaled. Exactly.
Wow, that's like it's such an asshole move.
Yeah, that was a real douchebaggery
7
right
second strike. Thank you for what is this? California money? Canada money? Keep
Canadian.
this format. I'm enjoying your perspective. Wow, thank you.
7 second strike. There is a 25% tariff on that super chat, just so you know.
Can't wait for you to join America. It's gonna be great. Okay.
I've had to do, and again, for press or whatever, on the road, on the radio. Do you have any idea how many times this has come up? People ask every single time, and I know I don't believe it. You can't go and listen.
I'm hearing this.
You can't go and listen to my press. I don't expect you to, but every time it's come up, I've gone through it and I've explained what it was, just like I did a couple of years ago when it first started getting bad.
Right.
No, it's just a bunch of fucking dirtbags trying to get like.
But it shows a deeper issue, because if we were having like just conversations like we did in the past, that would probably just come up in conversation. Like, dude, man, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying.
I'm saying I wouldn't even think we would need to. Like,
but we don't have that conversation anymore. Where it would probably come up like, dude, God, man, that cake stomp thing. I can't tell you how many times it's been coming up in interviews lately. I'm hearing this for the first fucking time.
I'm not even, honestly, I haven't thought of it to say, but it's like it's an obvious thing. Like when Ant got fired, I defended him. When you got this shit, I defended you. Like, it's like, how many times have I gone on, whether you guys were a team or whatever, the loyalty I've showed to this radio show has been fucking, I've never put anything in front of my career above this radio show. And then you're telling me like, I defend you enough that one day, and I'm telling you my reason.
Well, that was a big day, Jimmy.
And I did the right thing, because had I jumped in and was like, oh, they would have been like, why is he coddling Opie? I'm telling you what would have happened. Instead of saying, like in the Newsweek article, when I told you, hey, Polly wants to do this interview, do it. She's fucking great.
Right.
She'll paint it fairly.
Yeah, I took the high road. I didn't say half the shit I wanted to. I was like, this is crazy. Why are we doing it? I was like thinking, why are we doing
But you're
this?
not seeing any of, like, you don't look at any of that stuff and go like, wow, man, this guy did go to bat for me on this stuff. You don't see any of that stuff.
You absolutely went to bat for me in the Newsweek article. You're 100% right on that as well. Okay. But, and the cake stop thing, I had no idea about that. You're getting shit for that out there. I just don't.
Because the shit you're getting is a lot more. So it was like, I didn't.
We used to talk a lot. We don't talk on that level anymore. That's why. I know you're insulted that you don't know some of the stuff I now know, but me and you are just, we're not that type of friends right now.
I think
maybe we will be again. I don't know.
When you got married, Opie.
Opie is he is what's the word I'm thinking of? He's punishing Jimmy right now for like what he perceives to be choosing Anthony over him. It's like maybe we'll be close again, but not right now.
Right. And he's also not giving Jimmy any credit for the fact that Jimmy was a stand-up comedian, a traveling stand-up comedian who was doing shows all over the place, and really gave that up at the time to concentrate on the radio show. So Jimmy made sacrifices and put the show first, like he said. But Opie never said a word about that, never even thought about that. What about Jimmy's career outside? Doing all the appearances and all the shows and that he would do. Gave that up for you and Anthony for that radio show, but you didn't. He's not there asking for your validation. He's not there for asking for any credit. He just enjoyed doing the show, came to work, was funny, did his thing, would go home. Nice and easy and simple. This Opie would try to complicate everything. Me, all day, me.
Vendetta Avenger. Thanks for the 5. Look up the John Bernthal interview with Opie and Jim. Opie gets called out for it by John, uncomfortable listening to him explain haters to a celebrity. Oh,
I'll have to listen to that one afterwards.
All right. Well, hold on. We'll finish this.
What?
That's when the problem started because they're both not married. And then you're like the one married guy. And it's like you can't relate anymore.
No, I can relate to their Esther.
You know what I mean? Because you guys had this like bro, you know, and then all of
Esther's picking up on the fact that he is like the odd man out because he's not funny and they don't have the same chemistry. And she's like, no, you can't. She's like, you can't relate to them anymore because you're married. And she's trying to give him an excuse. And he's like, I can relate. She's like, no, I can tell you're the weird one here.
Man, but whether it was when I got married or had kids, I mean, of course, but that's what I wanted and got for my life. So that's fine. And that goes back to the point then. All right, whatever.
This is your life.
But whatever it was that made things change, that's okay. But the show probably should have ended a year, maybe 2 years before it did. And I'm guilty of that too, because I felt trapped. I didn't know how to, me and Ann weren't talking at all, so I didn't know how to even bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know the shit that was going on.
In a perfect world, you guys should have moved on and done a separate show, period. And I said period again. That'll drive people, it'll make them.
Yeah, Opie wanted to do his own show, and he wanted to get away from Anthony and Jim because he didn't feel like he fit in with them.
Yeah.
But what made him think that they would just give him his own show? Like,
I guess based on his previous career, and like I said, the knowing that he was a DJ, a successful DJ for some time before that in other cities. That again, this Sirius XM also was very strange in all the things that they would do. I mean, look at all the money they threw at Stern. They
yeah, but Opie's not Howard Stern.
No,
he wanted to be Howard Stern.
He was known. Around, especially in the tri-state area, he was known. So he was a name to throw out there, and they would have probably given him his own show to try out. What do they got to lose? They're a subscription-based company. These people are already paying for it, so throw him out there and see what he's got. It would have failed miserably, and Anthony and Jimmy would have had something that would have probably still be on today, honestly, because their repertoire is so great. But yeah, poor Opie, he was never going to get that. Just
from ID Shadows, Opie wanted the XM audience and paycheck. He hoped Jimmy left to work with Ann. His plan backfired. That sounds about right.
Very right.
Okay, we're almost done.
I'm very happy. And then I would have been fine. I've been doing this since I was 18. I would have reinvented myself and did another show. And I think it would have been, I don't think it would have been as successful as Opie and Anthony, because that was just that was lightning in a bottle, as they say. But I would have been just fine. I would have been just fine.
But no one is saying that you.
I didn't feel left out. I want to make that point. I didn't.
But you
maybe slightly as a human being, but it was more like, oh, okay, the writing's on the wall here.
But it was almost,
and it was kind of sad. Like, okay, this is coming to an end.
But a few minutes ago, you did say, like, yeah, I was watching you guys, and I didn't feel like there was a place for me in it. But in the reality it was because you were doubting what your place was. Of course, there was a place. To me, it was amazing. You didn't see it.
The honest answer is maybe I was doubting my place in that situation, but not doubting my place as far as a broadcaster goes.
Ugh.
No, I just mean in the comedic back and forth. I don't mean as a broadcaster. I just mean like the guy's bullshitting.
No, that's fine. I was never supposed to be, the funniest man in the room. I was never. I get my laughs.
No,
I was never supposed to be
really.
No,
the guy
the janitor is funnier than you.
he gets his laughs.
Ugh. Opie, you're not even the top 10 funniest people. They're all the crew. The maid is funnier than you. The lady who comes in after you all leave is funnier than you.
Over the top,
and
laughs.
That's fine.
I've always enjoyed, the comedy and the laughs in this room, of course.
But then why would you feel like weird when me and him were going back and forth?
That goes back to the show is now over. I'm not just gonna sit here and. It just meant that this show is changing in front of my eyes, and I'm not a part of this like it used to be in the old days, and that's okay. Yeah, so I guess it's a strange feeling.
Isn't that a feeling of being left out?
Huh?
Isn't that kind of a feeling of being left out?
Not okay
to a point, but more like realize
it's not okay with him. It's not okay with him at all. He's you notice when every time Opie starts to say something, it's always so because he's got to formulate in his head Instead of
Mhm.
saying what he's feeling, he wants it to come
Through a
out
filter.
through
He
a
always has
filter in a sympathetic way.
Yeah. He thinks too much. He kind of like you can tell how he speaks. He's not ever open and honest.
No,
It's always like
he's calculated. He's
yes,
trying to be very calculated.
because he doesn't want to share too much. But it's like you would be more likable if you overshared.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to admit that all of the problems that surrounded this thing started and ended with him. With
Mhm.
the way he was, with his jealousies, with the way he was with the staff, and the fact that he just couldn't come to grips with what the reality of the situation was. Case closed, game over. That's it.
Mhm.
Saying that this version of the show is over.
But if
it's an important point. Yeah, as a human being, I guess you do feel left out, but I didn't feel a desperation or any of that. I'm like, it was more like, man, this is over. How does this end? That's what I was thinking day in and day out.
As we're joking around?
No, the show in general. Jimmy, Jesus Christ.
I'm asking you.
But I said that I am fully aware that the show is still working.
Yeah, Jimmy is pointing out that Opie, when he's feeling left out, Opie and Jimmy are having great back and forth. And Opie's sitting there thinking, man, how is this going to end? Like, what is my next step? He's already checked out.
Yeah,
he checked out, and he's thinking about what's next. And Jim's like, wait a minute, you were thinking about what's next? Like, you weren't being present? You weren't listening and seeing how you could add at all to this show?
He knew the writing was there on the wall when he saw how how Anthony and Jimmy were together, and he knew he couldn't sustain that. Eventually, he was going to be exposed in something, and that's what he was. So he like you said, he checked out. He's like, I got to think a step ahead here because these guys are going to go off and they're going to continue doing. What am I going to do next? How do I get out of this? Because I'm drowning. He was a drowning man in his own head, all in his own head.
It's really sad.
Very.
And you were getting big laughs, and we still had a huge audience, and the people were actually the audience was dwindling, but it was going away. But yeah, that part of the show was working. But I knew that the show, as far as my contribution, was ending. And every day I was like, how does this end? This is not the show I want to be doing anymore, and it's not working anymore as how it was set up initially, which was me and Anthony with amazing chemistry. And then we brought you in, amazing chemistry, and it was boop, 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 boop. And then it eroded and went away. Of course, it was still working. That's what my whole point as a radio guy going, okay, how does this work? Those guys should do a show. I'll go and do a show. Hopefully they'll go for that idea. I never told the guys down the hall that, but that was what I was starting to think. Because to me, it was obvious it was over. Not you guys. And not as a listener that they're still getting their entertainment and their laughs.
Wow.
But I'm like, this is over. And it was kind of sad because, I remember back to 1994 when the whole fucking thing, came together.
It was.
So that's really what my thoughts were. Okay.
Oh, poor Jimmy.
There's nothing he can say at this point. Jimmy's like, yeah, sorry for existing. Sorry for coming on and like being good at this.
Yeah. He got put into a great situation, third chair on one of the most prominent radio shows in history. He did a great job, still does to this day. I love little Jimmy. He was there the whole time, not knowing all of this stuff that was going around in Opie's head, that he was really just not enjoying it, just jealous, just checked out, everything. And yet he was there maintaining a great relationship with Anthony and working together with them so well. When after Anthony left, it crumbled like a cracker. Couldn't sustain any weight. And I feel really bad that Jimmy got put into that position. He didn't deserve it at all for all the great things that Jimmy would bring to the show every day. The people loved him. The listeners love him, always will. Opie could have handled this so many different ways and it not have to go down this path, especially publicly.
Yeah, it's like getting stuck helping somebody move, but like every day for 2 years. Like,
yeah,
all
that's
right.
a good way to put it. Yeah.
I had to shit for 40 minutes. I'm not saying we should take a break. I'm just telling you, I've literally had to take a shit for 40 minutes.
You don't shit in public. That's an excuse.
Today I'm going to.
That's an excuse.
I don't know how.
You're avoiding.
I don't know how. Like, this must be a superpower of men. Like, that you guys can like hold in your poops.
To a point.
Like,
yeah.
No, it's like if I have to go, it's happening. Like, there's no. Oh, I'll just wait till I get home. What? How do you?
I have left restaurants before after a big meal and said, "Oh yeah, I could wait till I get home," and then I'm about 2 blocks before my house, or I'm at a stoplight, and I'm literally at the point of tears, saying, "If I don't get home in about 5 seconds, something bad is going to happen in this car."
Exactly, Chris. Holding in your poops is a young man's game. Oh yeah, like it's only happened a couple times, but where you're actually praying. You're like, oh no, you're just like fighting the clock. You're like,
and I admit I've done that more than a handful of times. Every time, oh yeah, I can wait. I can wait, no problem. We're 25 miles from the house. Nah, I got this, no problem. And then on the Southern State Parkway, I'm like driving this close to the wheel, saying, hurry up, God, hurry up. I can do this. Think good thoughts. You start stretching your legs out to try to sit straight up to get in a better position, and this is what guys do.
No, pooping at home is one of the only treats we have as men. Wow, I didn't realize you guys liked it so much. I actually prefer the opposite. I would so much rather leave it at a rest stop, never see it again, never see any of those people,
Look, when you got to go as a guy, you got to go. But I mean, look, there were times where I remember God, why am I going to talk about this? I remember the first time I went to Anthony's house for a party, and I had to take a crap really bad. And he had the bathroom in the basement, and I go in there, and it's all nice and clean, and I'm like, oh man, I can't do this. Is there any cleaning materials in here? Because something bad's about to happen.
You're like, where's the toilet brush?
Luckily, about 7 flushes later, everything was all good. So
great.
I care.
You care.
I've had to pee for 30 minutes. Yeah.
Esther's like, I also
my bladder is pressing up against my.
By the way, Esther also has to shit, but we're ladies and we don't say that. She'll just be like, yeah, I've had to pee.
Yeah, but Esther's like 71 pounds. She shits like a frozen pea. There's nothing,
No one's uncomfortable. Everyone's been holding in their bodily functions. Probably everyone's thirsty. Everyone is like antsy. It's like everyone needs to get up and stretch their legs.
Everybody in the booth during that show crapped their pants because they didn't know what was going on. They're all hunched over. It's a nightmare in the studio during all of this.
It's hot in there. It's probably like the uncirculated air.
Oh,
everyone's like the backs of your legs are sweating. It's just like
things are leaking out. And you're like,
it's not good.
Uterine lining. Well,
Esther's like, I'm gonna jump out the window now. Goodbye, everyone. Oh, so awkward. Oh my god.
I feel like we got a lot accomplished today.
Hi, Kenny.
Hi, Kenny.
How are you?
Have you guys seen the new Psy video?
I hear it's wonderful.
Yeah, let's play it to break.
Yeah.
Eric Logan, Elo has
here's a solution.
I have the answer. I'll co-host the show. You both are doing great.
Wow, this was going on for an hour and a half. Like, how long was their show normally?
I don't know if it was 4 hours.
Oh wow. Wowie.
Who he's talking to, because both is 2, not 3. So I don't know who he's referring to there.
He means me and you.
I'm joking.
I didn't know.
Christ. I didn't get my laughs in.
But you're getting mad
at me. Let's try. I'm not getting mad at you.
Okay.
Relax.
Yeah, all right. Because I didn't know you were joking.
Even the joking part, relax. I'm joking.
Right. Okay.
I'm not mad that you didn't get it.
It's so awkward in there right now. How do you come back from that?
But you have. I guess we both. Whatever, dude. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I don't know.
What do you mean?
Meaning, I know the company is probably going to can me after this discussion.
Oh, Christ.
I'm just saying, dude. I've been
That's
paranoid about getting fired my whole life. And I know that the last guy was gunning for me, and I'm not crazy about that. Like I saw it coming to K-Rock.
Bladder?
No.
Tim?
Yeah, he wanted me gone.
He was in a weird place.
Maybe, and I actually liked him.
I loved Tim a lot, but he was in a weird place when he came on board. And he never had that discussion with me.
No, I'm not saying he did. I just felt it. You know, it's like you feel things, certain questions people ask. So maybe I'm always just paranoid about it. But
look, I mean, you know.
How far out is your turtle head?
It's not going to be a turtle. It's going to be a soupy abomination.
I like doing this version of the show. I really do. You know,
what?
I mean,
what? After you just said that you hoped it would be just you by yourself, and then Anthony and Jim would have their own show. Now
notice
now it's like Jimmy just brings up like the higher ups will probably can me after this. Now they're both thinking about, oh yeah, the higher ups are listening to this. Opie's like, I really want to keep my job. Now he's going, oh, I like this version of the show.
No, he would always make those little veil pinpricks at management because he knew that they were listening to the show. But also notice how Esther and Jimmy are all about the shit they got to take right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Opie? You think he would join into that? It could be a funny little thing.
Right.
He's got no sense at all.
Hey, I don't have to go at all. I don't know why. I'll be like, I
nothing.
Like, talk about your butt situation, okay? Just share.
This is why Anthony would say all the time that Opie he was like the emergency brake on the show. Him and Jimmy would be doing a bit, and then Opie would do or say something to just grind it to a halt. By Opie just saying something about having to take a crap in that moment could have actually lifted the spirits of the entire room, and they could have gone and done something off of that.
Yeah,
instead, Esther and Jimmy are having this nice little banter back and forth, and Opie's just sitting there depressed. Oh yeah, this is I like this part of the show. No, it's not what I meant. And oh man, it's like the depression. It's like 1922 New York in Opie's mind. It's just depression.
Yeah, nothing fun at all. Damn.
Nothing. Oy.
Just want to let you know that.
I'm
really actually very surprised by our success. I thought we'd stumble along.
Yeah,
I really did.
You guys should be proud of it.
Because I told Jimmy,
and you guys love each other. It's just sometimes, you have to get your feelings out.
I told Jimmy, like, I never pictured me and him continuing. I always thought Jimmy would maybe move on to something bigger, and me and Ant, because me and Ant did have the chemistry, or Jimmy and Ant would have the chemistry. And out of all the combinations, we probably had the less chemistry. And I told you that once, and I think it might have hurt your feelings a little bit. I didn't mean it to, and
no, it didn't. You were right.
But for some strange. It is strange in a way because I'm a pretty confident and positive guy. I really thought we'd just stumble along, and I'm like, holy fuck, we made this work. I kind of surprised.
Yeah, man. You guys made this work for a long time, and it's still going.
We're talking about the new version, which is about almost a year and a half. No offense, I was surprised. I'm like, wow,
so just like I don't
made it fucking work.
Know the lore. She's trying so hard.
She got thrown into a hornet's nest, is what she got thrown into. It's very unfair.
Held her hostage.
I don't like. Here's why I don't like when it's called Opie and Jimmy, because then it feels like I'm trying to replace Anthony. I'm not saying that you want it that way. I'm only saying that's, to me, it's a different show. And it's like, I'm fine calling it Opie, but I don't want it to sound like I step in my friend. That's a big thing for me.
I get it.
If you know what I mean.
But first of all, I never said I wanted Opie and Jimmy.
I know you didn't.
Because
I know you didn't.
It's just how you name radio shows. But then when it was called Opie with Jimmy, people were attacking me like, oh, you're so full of yourself. You can't call it Opie and Jimmy. I'm like, holy fuck, they don't even know this is not even my idea.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to just be Opie and Jimmy because it's just easier to say.
I'm one of the people who we were talking on the phone when they were talking about renaming the channel. And I'm like, why not Opie Radio? It was like, that was my suggestion.
It wasn't my suggestion.
I know.
I hope people know that one too.
I know. And I'm not saying you would have called it Opie and Jimmy. You've never had an issue with that. I've always felt like, does it sound like I'm capitalizing on my friend not being here? And it's it's like, because people have said to me in interviews, well, dude, now that Anthony's gone, you've stepped in. I've had that happen. I had to correct them every time, dude. It's like, I know you see things from your point of view, and like the way they attack you personally. Like, I don't care if they don't think you're funny, they don't like you, they don't think some of that shit is just dirty, man. It's fucking dirty and it's garbage and it's not accurate and it's fucking. We all know it's shit. It's hateable.
Jimmy's a good friend.
Yeah.
Very good friend. He cares about Anthony a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel it
knew
at least. But the professional stuff I've gotten as well. And I've gotten a lot more than you think I've gotten. And, people who come to the shows are always happy and they always say positive stuff about I like the show. It's, some of them will go like, hey, you guys are doing okay. You got to get Anthony back, but you're doing okay. Like, I understand those sentiments. I'm okay with that. But it's like the company doesn't realize I deal with the fans more than either of you guys do. I do because I see them.
Well, yeah, you're doing your gigs.
I'm just saying, like, I have to, and most of them have been okay, but some of them, have not.
Oh, I get
to your face. What did they say?
No, but it's more like I was at the show and this and that. Whatever. It's okay. I get why a lot of them are very fucking pissed off.
I completely do. And I want to say that. I get why they're fucking pissed off.
And there's no right answer.
There was way more to it. I mean, these people who think they know anything, they don't know half the fucking shit.
But there's also people
they just don't,
that
and they
listen
never
to you
will.
who are not pissed off, and they just don't speak up. And there's a reason why you guys are still going.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like they still love you guys. And
it's also a habit. It's like, when Howard left terrestrial radio, the majority of the audience didn't come, and it's not even a knock on him. It's just people just kind of put on what they put on in the morning. And if you and I both left and it was just Justin and fucking Eric, they would listen to them. I'm exaggerating, of course. But you know what I mean?
Wow.
But the point is, they would, people would.
No, they'd find something else.
Yeah,
obviously.
it's just what people do, man.
They would find.
now
Jimmy
you guys
is
have low
absolutely
self-esteem.
right.
They would follow you wherever you go.
Jimmy is absolutely right in the respect that, especially in my perspective, coming from the IT side of things, what I do for a living, people don't like change. People hate change. When they're used to something, they get comfortable with something. When Anthony left the show, everybody got uncomfortable like crazy because they were there for so long. They got used to it being there. So I'm sure there was a shitload of unjustified hate when that came out, that Jimmy would get, that Opie would get. Anthony was in a different situation because he was in a different situation because he was the one that was fired. But there's always been this, the haters out there that will hate just to hate. But when Anthony left, people got so uncomfortable listening to the show that because he wasn't there. And it, I think, also affected Opie because of how much Opie cares about what everybody says.
Yeah.
He just can't tune out people.
Yeah.
If you had whatever going on.
People following me.
We defended Justin, by the way, on his show. We fucking went to bat for. I'm not saying I deserve a hand job for that, but I think you've gotten a bunch of unfair hatred.
Oh God, these guys have brought some great shit to this new show. Period. The period again.
I mean, you've gotten some of it's justified.
Oh God, I said period.
What kind of hate do you get, Justin?
A lot.
I literally would love
for what?
Well, because a lot of people think Eric and I have somehow prevented Ant from coming back, or whatever money was Ant's has gone to us, which is far from the truth.
Whatever. Anthony's gonna be fine. Now he's making money, right? He's charging $5 or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I honestly have no clue how well he's doing.
Eric and I were friendly with Opie and Anthony well before we came here, and Jimmy, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You guys got me on Letterman twice, and you got, I think, paved the way for Opie and Anthony to do Letterman. So
That's
people
yeah,
will
let's
give you guys
Justin
shit.
some credit here.
But I did. It's like the amount of these guys were loyal friends before all this nonsense happened, and people don't like you on the air or whatever. They're allowed to have their opinion of of performance, but it's unfair. A lot of the bullshit is very unfair, and I hate all the personal stuff. Hate it. The fucking stuff they print. I know it's a bullshit. I've known it's nonsense since day one.
I mean, the one chance the guy you sat next to for 20 years had one lousy opportunity, and he couldn't help himself. He had to fucking do it. He knows damn well that whole sex tape garbage.
Of course, we all know it's bullshit.
Was fucking pushed by Ben, who now I have a restraining order against. For some.
What? Do you know what they're talking about?
I don't know what they're talking about.
Okay.
I don't remember anyway.
Chat, do you know? Russell Hall, Mr. Potato Head can store a lot of shit in his. Disgusting, Russell. I should ban you. Okay.
Some reason, this is how crazy this place is. I got my fucking issues, but I went to bat for that fucking kid more times than I could count. And the last time Elo basically said, you can't save him anymore. And then for him to turn around and then attack me and start bullshit rumors about my wife is so fucking ridiculous. And the Post quickly realized they made a major fucking mistake.
That might have been when they tried to say that Opie's wife had a sex tape with Ben Margera. Remember that was mentioned yesterday?
Oh,
yeah.
Yuck. I don't understand the big deal with him back in the day. I don't know why people thought he was attractive. I don't get it.
And then we fought it in court because we said that's not good enough. And Aunt knows this to be fucking true. And go fucking watch the video. Oh, I'll leave that for the internet to continue to speculate on. That is bullshit.
Question.
That is fucking
I can only ask, are you, and again, I'm asking, are you sure that wasn't a sarcastic remark about how nonsense it is? Almost like saying,
go listen to it.
All right.
I'm positive.
Because he knows 100% that's not true. I've never heard him doubt that.
He knows what that did to me and my family. He knows that's bad character. Period. And yeah, I said period again. It's bad character.
How long does a restraining order last?
I can't really talk about that right now. I said too much.
Well, I can answer that from the ones I've had to deal with. Usually 6 months.
Oh, really?
Kidding.
Oh.
Tough room to restraining orders, Cameron.
No, because I was thinking about getting one against an ex-boyfriend, and I never did because I thought it'd be just a pain in the ass to deal with all the fucking paperwork.
It can be,
you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've never been issued one, but
it's just like if I'm the one to issue a restraining order on somebody, people might look at my record and be like, "Oh, she's got problems," So I didn't want that.
What problems do you have on record?
Yeah,
you got to give Esther a lot of credit here.
Yeah,
no, but
she's trying.
The van has gone down the mountain. It's on fire. It's got no brakes. It's got no wheels. Yet she's trying to steer it back onto the road. A lot of credit.
She's the greatest.
But if you file a restraining, if I file a restraining order against an ex-boyfriend, it might be like a red flag on me. I don't know. Maybe I should have gotten one.
Maybe. What did he do to you?
He wouldn't give me the keys back to my apartment after we broke up. After.
Why don't you just change the locks so you don't even have to deal with them?
No, because I was getting evicted and I needed the key for 3 more weeks, or to get my shit. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
They couldn't care less about Esther.
He goes right back into
Opie's so bad at pretending to care about people.
Oh,
great.
We ever got the answer? Are you going to hang out with Aunt at the Patrice benefit?
Nope.
Tough room.
That was. That was
trying to bring it back.
No, I understand. That was a good one. But when I was asking, I was asking you genuinely. I wasn't. I just had heard this.
No,
it wasn't something I've been dying to ask you. It just came up. And I was like, oh,
I don't. There's nothing behind that. I get it, but no, I'm not. Puts me in a bad spot because it's a fucking benefit for a really good friend that we all horribly miss. So, but I can't be in the same room as that guy. Nope.
Wow, not the same room.
He knows all the shit he did. It's like, really, dude.
They're all trying to lift the spirits of the
Nothing
room.
to do with your firing. You know that.
It down.
You know that.
Yeah.
He's incapable of having a good time at all. He is just.
He insists
like
on,
a lawn dart.
on brooding.
That. Christ. And we were done. So to make believe we weren't done and that me and Jimmy were supposed to just leave, that's ridiculous. I had no place to go. That's what it comes down to. None.
Of course you guys aren't going to leave.
I had no place to go.
Well, it's like people do forget that this is a job. And it's like, I really do. I love what I do. I enjoy myself here. I never said I didn't have fun here. I enjoy it. I enjoy performing. I enjoy fucking yapping every day with you. I enjoy the fucking gig.
Right.
I mean, and this is, and I know the fans are split and they're very hurt and they're very angry, a lot of them. But it's almost like, and I know the company's probably like, you guys just don't talk about it. But it's like, we do deal with this on a daily basis. This is what the company has to understand. This is not something that we can just go, all right. This is something that.
But they've never told us to.
No, I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying it's in our faces all the time.
They just leave us alone.
Yeah.
We don't really hear from them a lot.
Yeah, but people don't understand that they act like this is like they would have walked away from their jobs. You know what I mean? And people act like their financial security isn't important. It's
Fuck them.
It's fake.
Maybe financially we're in different spots because it wasn't about the money. It was about the fact that there was nowhere to go. Like our chemistry was done and that version of the show was absolutely done. And we absolutely did not like each other. It goes both ways, not just me toward him. We didn't talk at all. Probably less than 10 phone calls. I don't even know how many times we actually talked off air, but it was.
And he didn't come to my house.
Oh, a lot of it stemmed from that.
Russell Hall from 5. If Opie had a sex tape, we all know what it would be called. What would it be called? 2 Inches in Heaven? I don't know.
Opie Unleashed.
Opie Unleashed, of course.
Extremely, extremely rare. And if we had any chemistry left or any type of relationship left, yeah, I would have left in a second. Of course, my record shows that over the years. Christ, when we went to Boston, I had a PD walk up to me and basically tell me why Anthony, and was hinting at firing him. Like, you're fucking ridiculous. And that happened from time to time. There was always something, and we always just stuck together, always. But at that point, there was nothing to stick together for anymore, which is really sad. Really sad. Because there was no guarantee that we were going to do well after he left either. None. What was the guarantee? We had 2 months left on our contract to hopefully give him a little glimmer that maybe this new version of the show could work. And then they said, all right, yeah, cool. All right, we'll re-sign you guys. And we're like, I was sort of surprised. I'm like, wow, okay. And then we made a go of it. And honestly, I'm having a really good time here. I feel I love doing radio.
Are you having a good time, Jimmy?
Yeah, I really wouldn't do it if I wasn't. I wouldn't do it.
Exactly. The bottom line is you guys are having a good time. Please don't break up because everybody's going to hate me even more.
I don't think it's possible. I never got the Esther hatred either. I really love Esther.
They're going to blame me for like you guys stopping in October.
They already are on Twitter.
I feel bad for Esther because it's like Esther is open. She's masturbated on the radio show. She talks openly and honestly. Like, what do you want from Esther?
I also masturbate on my podcast.
Oh boy.
How about you do that now? I think that's sort of what we need.
Go jerk off?
Yeah.
In the bathroom?
Well, we all need that.
I mean, you go under the console or something.
Yeah.
With a microphone.
Seriously, you guys, yeah.
I don't have major problems with you, Jimmy.
No, I don't feel like you do. I don't. I
had major problems with Ann, and he had major problems with me. This is different. I mean, our lives have changed, I guess, and we're not as close as we used to be. But I don't have any major fucking problems with you.
Yeah, I don't feel like that. I didn't think you were saying that. I didn't think you were saying that. Like, it didn't come off like that. But I was just surprised to hear you say that. Like,
Opie is exhausting. Like, it's impossible to even establish a baseline reality.
I don't know how it's even gone on this long. The fact that they were on the radio doing this for damn near 2 hours is just mind-numbing.
Yeah, it's like a fight. Like if we've all like dated somebody like that they've ultimately like broken up with, where like the fights go for hours and hours.
Because one side is always looking for that justification. Oh,
yeah.
Why? Give me the why. And every why leads to another why. Well, this happened. Well, why did this happen? Well, if that happened, then why did this happen? And there's never an answer because it's all feelings and opinion. So, this is, again, Opie's mentality during this entire time that's led to him being where he is today. It's scarily sad.
It's about to be unleashed.
With I kind of, I'm guessing.
I'm sorry I brought it up. Oh
It's
my
okay.
God.
You're a good
But that was never on me. I don't care if people do a show. I don't.
And people have said to, and
I
I've
just
said this to other,
don't.
And I've reiterated that
You can do Anthony's show, just don't have better chemistry with him than you do with Opie.
this not once has Opie ever said to me, shouldn't do Ant's show, or like, I don't know if you should be doing that.
I'm just so
I have
used
not
to
gotten
that
any
with like
shit
comedy
from that.
clubs doing that, you know, like if you play my comedy club, you can't play.
That's not,
you know,
that's not come
so
from me. If there's a thing out there,
I
it's
know
not
I
come
didn't
from
I
me.
didn't think that it came from you. I just was asking almost to be polite. You know what I mean? Like I didn't mean to like.
It's fine.
Yeah. I didn't mean to like push your buttons or anything.
Esther.
You know?
That's fine.
Could you have Esther?
He took a lot of shit for this too.
Our guest left.
Mm-hmm.
What, they blame Esther for bringing up this whole conversation?
They and they blamed a lot on her for starting this whole fallout. That you know, was obviously her being on the show, just wrong place at the wrong time when this came out. That's why I feel bad.
Yeah. Wrong place, wrong time. But you know what? It had to happen. This was destined to be.
Oh yeah,
It was a long time
an
ago.
eventuality.
Send our apologies.
We did.
Wait, who left?
Well, there's one good thing came out of today.
The Property Brothers left?
I had no desire.
Where's Dante?
I had no desire to talk to the Property Brothers.
Sorry, guys. I forgot they were even here.
We'll reschedule Dante.
Yeah, we will. And the Property Brothers, well, what do they plug in? I feel bad. We didn't need to fuck them.
Property Brothers Wednesday at 9 on HGTV.
Wait, they were supposed to have more guests on?
Yeah, they were just sitting out there and they just got up and left because of this whole thing.
Man.
It was brutal. It was as bad as you can get on radio.
I didn't know they ignored other. Wow.
Yeah. Poor Esther got stuck in there too long, and the other
Wouldn't a
guests
normal
left.
person be like, well, we gotta wrap this up because we have guests coming in.
Somebody in the booth should have just held up a sign, guest, you know,
Yes.
with an arrow, you know.
That would have been for the best. Like, let's not let this go on so long. Wow.
Nothing was stopping it. Everybody was mortified at what was going on. They were too afraid to do anything. They were too afraid to interrupt.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they were afraid that Opie would have got up and walked off and just said, "That's it." And just, you know,
Right,
who
let's see how
knows?
this ends.
Fucking, I had property questions for them about my renovations. Been a financial fucking
Dante's
hit
in
for
the
2
office?
months.
Next time.
All right, we could bring Dante in and just.
We should break first, guys.
Shoot the
I
shit.
legitimately do have to take a dump. And I've legitimately have had to for almost an hour.
Esther, what are you promoting?
I
Where's
got
your
my
shit?
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't even want to promote it.
Oh, promote it, Esther. Come on.
You guys, your people hate me so much.
A lot of them don't hate you. The ones who are vocal.
Right.
But, you know, the ones like, you know.
That's what I think you guys have to realize.
No, we do. We do.
You know, like there's a reason why you guys are still here.
We wouldn't have you here.
And that
We
Steven
didn't think he
Singer
was
still
working.
buys advertisements from you.
I do. He's a prostitute. I do. But I do. And in all honesty, I get weird reactions from the fans, but I get a tremendous
You
amount.
guys
And I've
have
said this
weird
to you.
fans.
I've also gotten a lot of. I've never gotten positive like, "Hey, I like you guys better without Ant." I think, but the people who've said positive stuff, it's always like they know the situation we were put in, and they've always said like, you know, look, I still listen to the show and I'm still enjoying the show.
Right.
It's never been a reflection on, well, it's better without him. I mean, look,
it's a different show.
It's a different show, and that's.
It's
I'm not looking at it
worse.
as a better.
It's worse. It only lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not the same. It's different. That means it's worse.
It's amazing
Marine,
it lasted as long as it did.
Marine Mike, late to the show. So basically, Opie is a kunt. Yes, you're correct.
I love
Russell
Mikey.
Hall. Why did she strum her bean on the radio? I don't know. That's a whole nother podcast episode, Russell.
Just I look
Yeah.
at this as different.
It's a different radio show.
I hope anyway, because that's what that was my goal. All right, Esther.
It's different. The good old days are gone.
Sadly.
You know?
Some of them are, yeah.
But I don't know.
Some of them weren't great old days either. Some of them are okay old days.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Opie's still checked out. He's like, God, he's just not present.
I have to pee.
He's
All right,
not
let's,
even looking at Esther at this point. When Esther said that she wanted to promote something, you hear him fuddling around with the tapes and stuff. He's just like, "Oh yeah, well, Esther, what do you got going on? Whatever." No, he's gone. He's mentally gone.
It's so sad.
Separately.
San Francisco this weekend.
Thursday?
Yes. Friday and Saturday.
All right.
All weekend. Big laughs.
Big laughs for everybody. All right. We'll be back.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
And after all of that, after 2 hours of that, nothing was solved.
Nope. No resolution.
None. They, aired their grievances a little bit. Obviously, Opie more because Jimmy really didn't have any grievances, not many at all. Opie had this whole thing that he let out there with no solutions, no
Mhm.
nothing.
Oof.
God.
Wow. I'm so glad we covered it, Chris.
I feel like we
learned a lot.
I think Opie should send money to everybody in the chat that's watched this,
Mhm.
and for us for the total psychoanalyzation of his being up till today. I mean, he doesn't have to seek therapy after watching this. We broke
Mhm.
him down. We've got that inner whatever out
We've
of him.
unleashed him.
Yes, or unzipped him, as the
Yeah.
chat said nicely before.
Oh my gosh. Chris,
Wow.
where can people follow you?
You could find me on YouTube at youtube.com/@subdivisions, just spelled like the Rush song. I do Friday night karaoke or Saturday night, depending on if I have to work Friday night. And every now and again, I do a Saturday show of just some funny videos and stuff like that. And we do the golf streams with Anthony and Ringo and Nurse Sarah. We play PGA 2K25 and lose our collective shit on a golf course, which everybody seems to love. The last time that we did it, we had like 2,500 viewers was watching it, which is
Wow.
just mind blowing. That's because of Anthony, obviously. But because when he's
Stop,
raging,
it's for
when
me
he's
too.
mad and he's raging and he's struggling and we're all losing our mind, it is great to watch. It's so fun to be a part of. But that's where I can be found.
Cool. Awesome. And yeah, guys, if you are in Fort Wayne, Indiana, come see me this Saturday at Fort Wayne Comedy Club. Should be a good time. Thanks for watching, guys. We got one final little sneaky super chat from Andrew. Thank you for the vibe. This is a wonderful series, Chrissy. You and Chris need to break down the whole Opie downfall video. It's
God.
Wait a second. There's one 8-hour Opie downfall video. Please send it to me, Andrew.
That's
You
a
have 8
that's a
hours, Chris.
marathon. That's a marathon. That might have to be something that you do while you're at Content House. Just a
Whew,
24-hour stream,
that
8 hours
sounds-
dedicated to Opie.
I would be suicidal. Maybe. Send this video to me. I will check it out. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to the chat. This was a lot of fun. Until
Thank
next
you.
time.
I can't thank you enough.